Okay, what? What is it? We get all this set up. We're setting everything up, getting everything pre-recorded, pre-ready and everything. And you go, I have a cold open. What is it? What's your goddamn cold open?
I met this guy.
Oh, well, now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Now you have my attention.
So, not long ago, I was on vacation with my family at Disney.
Yeah, we touched on that ever so slightly.
Oh, yeah. While you were off doing
Spooky, yeah.
Spooky.
And you had asked if I wanted to hear about it, and on air I said no. But now I do.
Wow.
Color me intrigued.
Okay. Basically, yeah, I was on vacation. We were there for a couple days, and I'd gone to Magic Kingdom one of the afternoons by myself. They were closing the Riverboat and the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island in Frontierland. And so it was kind of my last chance to experience that and to kind of see that area as it is and has been my entire life. And so I went over and did that a couple of times, rode the riverboat around because I hadn't done that in years, and kind of said goodbye. And so then I'm riding the monorail back to my car at Ticket and Transportation Center. And it was not like super late, but I left before the fireworks. So like most people are staying in. So it was a pretty empty monorail.
Sure. Okay.
And I'm sitting there across from like this family, this, I assume married couple, probably their grandkids. And I'm just kind of sitting there riding along in the dark. And you're just kind of looking around the cab a little bit. And every once in a while I notice that this guy's kind of like eyeballing me a bit. I'm like, okay, I don't really know what that's about, but we get to the other side, we get up to leave, and he stops me and he's like, hey, I just wanted to say that's a really cool shirt design. What is it exactly? And so I was wearing my
was it my cursed birth shirt?
It was not. No, I hadn't stolen that from your closet.
Okay.
It was my Halloween 3 Part 2 The Legacy of Cochrane shirt, which is a fake horror film poster that is designed by Rob Schrab. Rob Schrab, for anyone who doesn't know, he does a bunch of different things. He's a writer. He created the comic book series Scud, the Disposable Assassin. And then he was the co-writer of the animated film Monster House with Dan Harmon. Dan Harmon of like Community and Rick and Morty fame.
Yeah, and he's a frequent guest on the Colgate Comedy Hour.
Yeah. Well, he creates fake movie posters. So things like Shark Hotel and Cannibal Airlines and Howl of the Were-Ranosaurus.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
And he sells them online. And so I had bought this because clearly like a sequel to Halloween 3, that's ridiculous. I love it because I get that reaction of people of like, what is that?
Did they make that? Yeah.
Did I somehow miss this? And so I kind of explain all of that. It's a fake movie poster made by an artist I follow, like whatever. But he's like, well, the real movie that it's referencing, I really love. It's one of my favorites, which already I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I find another fan of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch just in the wild.
Like somebody die hard enough for that movie that they would come and ask a stranger about their shirt. Yeah.
And so I'm thinking I'm about to blow this guy's mind and tell him about the podcast.
Yeah.
Right. And before I can even do that, he's like, he brings out his phone and he's like, well, hold on here. Let me show you something you might be interested. I have a podcast that's called The Horror Returns.
So,
and I'm like, okay, you're joking?
So he's a competitor.
Yeah.
Give me his info. I'm going to dox him. Nobody does horror podcasts but us. and a million other people.
I'm like, yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no way. Okay. I was about to tell you that I have a horror podcast and it's the title, the name of it is a reference to Halloween 3. And he stops and he's like, really? And so we both kind of exchange, look each other up on Spotify and we follow and Instagram and we exchange that. And so all that to say, and then we kind of, say our goodbyes and we're like, hey, maybe we'll cross paths again or whatever. This is kind of neat. And we went off our separate ways. And I was like, I just wanted to say, like, really cool bumping into Lance from the Horror Returns podcast. And then in the weeks after that, I've listened through several of their episodes, and I'm listening to their episode talking about 28 Days Later and 28 Years Later, because that had just come out. I'd watched it that weekend, and he gave me a shout out on their show, The Horror Returns. So I guess what I'm saying is that, you know, horror brings people together.
Hello, all you Corey Feld gentlemen and Feld ladies, and welcome to the Third Channel Podcast,
where we delve into the horror franchises you love from the perspectives of a lifelong horror fan
and a newbie to the genre. I'm PJ.
And I'm Derek.
And today, the only thing we have to talk about is horror.
That was really good, though. I like that.
Thank you. The Feldman joke or the spooky voice?
Both. Oh, good.
Quick question for you. We were talking earlier about meeting Lance from this
The Horror
podcast,
Returns,
our rival podcast, who we now are going to be forever mortal enemies with.
Right.
There can only be one. But question, you guys were at Disney together, and then you kind of parted ways very briefly after, or you quickly after a brief encounter, like a brief meeting.
Yeah.
Did you guys share a bowl of spaghetti in an alley like Lady and the Tramp before you left?
Well, yeah, I left that out because I didn't think it was relevant to the story.
Oh, well, then we'll cut this out.
Okay, good.
We are here, if you couldn't tell by my amazing Corey Feldman joke, we're here to discuss Goonies. No, we're here to discuss Stand By Me, a movie that we're not here to discuss. We're here to discuss, I was going to say Halloween, Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter.
Yeah. It's pretty sad. You know, we've been doing this whole like back and forth between the Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street franchises, but it pretty much comes to an end right here because this is the final chapter.
Dude, hey, really quick, and I'll cut all this out. But I think there's 6 more of these.
Oh, the Friday movies?
Yeah, they made a lot more.
With Jason?
Yeah.
As like the killer?
It's like a Mustafa Akkad situation. They just wouldn't let it die.
Okay.
Evil dies tonight. And we have spoken about this one kind of in passing before because we like this one an awful lot.
Yeah.
And where we had some maybe, they were kind things, but they weren't the kindest things in the world to say about our last entry.
Yeah.
We both very much like this one.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites of the whole franchise.
Yes. And for good reason. I think that every part of, I remember saying in our review about 3, that the reason I prefer 2 to 3 is because everything that makes a movie good, 2 does better than 3.
Yeah.
But this one does all those things better than 2.
Yeah.
It's got better characters. It's got a better story. What's weird is that it's shot very well. And a lot, Tom Savini is back. So the practical special effects makeup is incredible. Second to none.
Yeah.
But then a lot of the practical effects that they do kind of around the set to make Jason, because this is, I think, the most Jason we get so far in this. And, they're all over the top and so spectacular. And we'll get more into all of that. But this is one that I, from the beginning, was like, I'm going to defend 2, but I can't wait for 4.
Yeah. You won me over with 2. The rewatches this time really did it, but 4 still has a special place. Before we jump in,
yes.
I don't know if you do. I have a little bit of housekeeping.
Not really. You know what? Now I'm going to come up with. While you're telling yours, I'll come up with one. So I'm not. I don't want you to be alone.
Okay. Listening back through, I think it was part 2. we talked a little bit about the film Hurry Up Tomorrow, which is a psychological thriller directed by Trey Edward Schultz, starring The Weeknd and Jenna Ortega. You might remember.
Yeah.
I did not like it. Probably so far the worst film I've seen in theaters this year.
I will say that from what I have heard, the chatter out there is that no one liked it.
Yeah. Hurry Up Tomorrow. The thing that I want to clarify is in that little conversation, because that movie is such a fleeting part of my memory, even just a mere few weeks after watching it on the big screen, I could not remember the title in that, and I kept getting it mixed up with another movie. So the Weeknd movie is called Hurry Up Tomorrow, which is also it's the name of one of his albums.
Okay.
I got it mixed up with a film called Better Luck Tomorrow from 2002, which is a crime drama directed by Justin Lin, which, of course, introduced the character of Han Lu, played by Sung Kang, who would later show up in Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious, Fast 5, and Fast and the Furious 6.
For those of you who can't see him, which is everyone but me right now, he did not reference his phone visually for all of that data. He had that because that's his favorite movie franchise of all time.
And all those films are directed by Justin Lin. So I didn't want to get that, I didn't want to mix that up and confuse people and think that I was talking about that. Better Luck Tomorrow is a interesting little movie because it's one of Justin's early films before he kind of moved up and started working on franchise films for the Fast franchise. And he brings along his character of Han into Tokyo Drift. And Han, for anyone who's a fan of the Fast and the Furious franchise, which anyone who listens to this podcast clearly is.
Yes.
Han is the greatest character.
Okay. I make this podcast and I don't give a fuck about that.
Wow.
Is that your housekeeping?
That's my housekeeping.
My housekeeping is that if you're looking for a way to brighten the smell of your home, what you do is you take a pot with some water, lemon rinds from, maybe you've made lemon tea, something that you've used fresh lemon for. You take the rinds and you place them in the water, blanching them ever so softly on a low simmer for just a few minutes. Add sprinkled cinnamon into it, give it a mix, and put the heat on as low as possible to create an effervescent potpourri for your house.
That is some good housekeeping.
Thank you.
It was a little different than mine, but okay.
Yeah. Well, mine's not near as much about family. I am very disappointed right now. Typically at this point, I go into the Letterboxd summary for the film, but I cannot because if you try it, Letterboxd server is currently not available, so I can't pull up the summary.
Well, what's funny is I loaded it prior to us recording. Oh. So before that server went down.
Okay, well, here, let me read this then. You got a text message. You're dead to me. Who's mom? 3 times before you have felt the terror, known the madness, lived the horror. But this is the only one you've been screaming for. After his revival in a hospital morgue, Jason fixes his vengeful attention on the Jarvis family and a group of hitherto carefree teenagers. And that's the summary.
Wow.
I think that's pretty good. The tagline's way better than the summary.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Hitherto is a good word.
Yeah, you don't hear it too much.
Yeah, you don't hear it hither too much.
Yeah, you got it.
Do you want to just end this one?
Yeah, I think we're done.
Okay.
We like the movie, guys. We recommend.
It's good. See you next time.
Friday the 13th, the final chapter, released April Friday the 13th of 1984.
Was that an April Fool's Day?
No. Did you see the process of my brain? It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, it was like a Rube Goldberg machine went off and all the marbles clicked down and then the mousetrap went off and you were like, wait, no.
Directed by Joseph Zito. Written by Barney Cohen and Bruce Hidemi Sakau. And produced by Frank Mancuso Jr.
Okay.
We might solve this one this week.
Okay.
Cinematography is by, I am going to butcher this name.
That's okay.
Horribly.
That's okay.
It is a Brazilian born director of photography, and his first name is Joao, and it has the
Enya over it.
Enya over the A.
Oh, I don't know what noise that makes.
So Joao.
Sure. Yeah, that works for now.
Fernandez. I'm sorry, Mr. Fernandez. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that first name of yours.
What's so funny is you're like, I'm sure I'm going to butcher this. And I'm expecting it to have, 16 characters per name and it'd be ridiculous. But it's 4 letters. And you're right. I don't know how to pronounce it. No. Zhao sounds probably right.
But he is the director of photography on all of Joseph Zito's films, which include Abduction, Blood Rage, The Prowler, Missing in Action, Invasion USA, and Red Scorpion. And then he was also the DP on Children of the Corn in 1984. The Disney Channel original movie from 2001, Motocrossed.
Never seen that.
And then before all of that, he was best known for his work in the adult film industry during what they call the golden age of pornography, which, if you're wondering, and I can see by your face you are, that took place between 1969 and 1984.
I'm sorry, this is not what our show is about, but that cannot be true.
No, that's my research. That's what I found.
Okay. I don't know what you would call
I did a
now.
lot of research on this guy, is what I'm saying. And his work.
Oh, you've seen a lot of his work?
A lot of it. Just leading up to this episode. I thought it was important.
Would you describe a lot of his work as golden?
Yes.
You took a shower in his work. You showered yourself with all of his golden work.
Okay. Yes, I did.
Okay. We'll move past that.
Good. Edited by Joel Goodman. Okay. He was the editor on Joseph Zito's The Prowler and Missing in Action. He is the editor on James Cameron's The Abyss. And then he also was the cinematographer on John Lafia's Monster and Chameleon 3 Dark Angel. John Lafia is the director of Child's Play 2. And then he also was the editor on Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure from 2003.
Oh, no.
The other editor is Daniel Lowenthal. He was the editor on Mother's Day, which was a slasher from 1980, Madman, a slasher from 81, and then Joseph Zito's Missing in Action, Invasion USA, and Red Scorpion, and then also the Stephen King adaptation, which was a werewolf film in 85 called Silver Bullet. The budget for this film is exactly what it was for 3.
$1.25 million.
That was what it was for 2.
I thought it was the same between 1 and 2.
No, it doubled. $2.2 million.
Oh, okay. I've been doing tricks where I make it sound like I knew, but I won't do it this time. I didn't know.
That's good. That's big of you.
I won't even repeat it again. What did you say it was?
I said that the box office.
Oh, yes.
Was a little less than part 3. Diminishing return here, but just a little bit. 33 million from 36.7 million. And
the last one dethroned E.T. What did this dethrone?
I don't know, but I believe this was the the 4th most attended of the Friday the 13th series, according to the tickets sold.
That makes sense.
Our director, Joseph Zito, he had done the thriller in 75 called Abduction, a horror film called Blood Rage in 79, The Prowler, which is a slasher we've mentioned a couple times in 81, Missing in Action, which is a Chuck Norris film, Invasion USA, which is a canon film also starring Chuck Norris, and Red Scorpion, which was an 88 action film starring Dolph Lundgren. Frank Mancuso Jr. we've talked about. He is the AP on part 2. He's the producer on 3 and 4, and he's the executive producer on Friday the 13th, 5 and 6, and a couple other things. The story was written by Bruce Hidemi Sakau, and the only other thing that I found that he had done was a martial arts sci-fi film called The Secret War in 2003. And then the screenplay was handled by Barney Cohen, who also wrote Stunts, which was the 77 film that was produced by Robert Shea. A 86 slasher comedy called Killer Party. And then he also wrote the screenplays for Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Sabrina Goes to Rome, which are the TV movies that go along with that franchise.
And those movies have Melissa Joan Hart in them, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you remember earlier there was
the guy who did the music,
the score for everything she's ever worked on?
Yeah.
This is getting weird.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of this is getting weird.
We're gonna have to eventually draw a spider web,
like a Pepe Sylvia. Yeah. For sure.
So when Friday the 13th Part 3 was released, it was initially supposed to, I guess, end the series as a trilogy.
It's probably why they called it the final chapter.
No. Part 3.
Oh.
So they didn't, but that's the thing is they didn't indicate that it was going to be the end.
Okay.
But they kind of treated it that way of like, and I guess that's why he gets killed in the end of that movie.
That's what I figured.
Killed.
Yeah, I figured that's what 3D stood for, was the three is the last movie.
Yeah. That is what they were trying to do, but it was subtle.
Yeah.
And most people didn't pick up on it.
That's why we host this show.
And so in 1983, there were rumors that Paramount billed the fourth film as the final chapter. As a direct result of this, they were feeling embarrassed by their association with the series and the declining popularity of like slasher films at the time. But the idea actually came from Frank Mancuso Jr., who was the son of the Paramount CEO. And he had begun to resent the series due to how he felt nobody was respecting him for his work on Part 2 as a production assistant and on Part 3 as a producer, regardless of how much money the films ended up bringing in for the company.
That's actually kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because of this and him wanting to work on some different projects, he wanted to conclude the series by killing off Jason Voorhees for good.
Okay. Well, a lot of people wanted to do that. So it's not just him.
But I don't know. That's the stretch that he puts out as like it was his idea to end it. So that I guess is my answer for.
Is he the bad guy in this? Because I think a lot of the reason we said Mustafa Akkad was the bad guy is because he didn't know when to quit.
No,
which is a line from Ernest. I think it's Ernest Scared Stupid. And he never knew when to quit. And then the teacher walks up to a young Ernest and slaps him in the back of the head.
Joseph Zito had previously directed The Prowler, and he wanted to basically Paramount wanted him to both direct and write Friday the 13th Part 4, but he wasn't a writer. And so they were like, well, here's a contract that pays you double to write and direct. And so then he was like, yeah, I'm totally a writer. So he used that extra salary, which this is the part that doesn't make any sense because he apparently used that extra salary to then hire Barney Cohen to secretly write the script. And their process was that Zito would take nightly, like hour-long phone calls with Phil Scudery to discuss the story and script for final chapter. And then the next day, he would meet Cohen in an apartment in New York, and he would go over those notes with him. And then Cohen would then write that as script pages that he would give to the director, who would then give it back to the Scudery guy who he had discussed in the first place.
Is Barney Cohen's whole job that he knew how to type? And Frank Mancuso Jr.,
he was just like, I just know how to like chicken peck. I can't type.
Frank Mancuso Jr. keeps being like, hey, we got to get these pages. We got to get them in. And he's like, Joseph Zito's looking down at his typewriter like, oh, fuck. Who do I know in New York who has a typewriter? And then Barney Cohen, famously of the Cohen brothers, is like, yeah.
But it's like, if he was just going to take that extra money to give it to another person, then why did he need to take the job to get the extra money? He's not actually earning the extra money.
He's giving it to somebody else. And if he's listening to somebody somebody involved in the production of the movie, if he's listening to them say exactly what they want in the script, giving that to somebody else who's writing it onto script pages and handing it to him, why didn't he spend like a quarter of that he was giving to Barney Cohen and give it to like a stenographer? Like a fucking like a power pole ad that you staple to the wooden like light poles. It's like, need help. Need someone with good penmanship. Joseph Zito. And the little tabs that you tear off.
Yeah. Well, with previous Friday the 13th films generally had, young women as the final girl. So this is kind of the first film in the series to not only have two survivors, but also one of them is a child. And the filmmakers believe that aspect of the movie hadn't really ever been done in a slasher before. And so they also wanted to like create characters that the audience didn't want to immediately see get killed.
That's so dumb. Well, they've never had kids before. It's like, did you see Halloween? Did you see the movie with the 2 kids in it?
Yeah.
Who survived to the end of the movie?
Yeah. I don't know where they were getting at it with that.
I don't know. It's like
they didn't see the thing that they ripped off originally. They heard about it.
Sean Cunningham is like, it's going to be bigger than Halloween. And they're like, oh, well, what are the similarities? Like, I don't fucking know. This one's got an old lady in it. Shut up.
Okay. Camilla Moore is an actress. She originally read for the role of Samantha, but that ended up being played by Judy Aronson. And she said that it was fun reading the part, but she was very nervous about the full nudity that was required for the role because of the movies in this franchise so far, this is the one with the most nudity.
Yeah, it's the one with the kid in it.
Yes.
Has the most nudity.
Yes. And so she wasn't really sure that she wanted to do that because of the nudity. But then, like, the casting agents stopped her in the middle of her read when they saw on her resume that she had an identical twin sister named Carrie. And they told her that if her sister also agreed to join the film, they would cast both of them. And so Camilla asked her sister, who was excited about it and agreed. But then they learned that in that new role, both of them would involve full nudity as well. So Camilla was still hesitant about that, but Carrie, who Camilla says has always been more adventurous, she said she had no problem with that. And so they both agreed to do the part, obviously, because that's the performances we see in the movie.
Yeah, and if one of them is uncomfortable with the nudity, then the other one just goes in and does those scenes.
Amy Steele, who you might remember was Jenny in part 2, she had co-starred with Peter Barton on the TV series The Powers of Matthew Starr, which was like a sci-fi kind of sitcom, I guess, that ran for like a season. By the time the final chapter offer had come around to Peter Barton, that show Matthew Starr was off the air. So Barton didn't want anything to do with a horror film. He had worked on a movie called Hell Night in 1981, and he had a really bad time there. But then Amy Steele talked him into it, selling him on like kind of the notoriety that I guess she had gotten from starring in a Friday the 13th movie. So he agreed then. And then the other big get here, and you mentioned him before, is that makeup artist Tom Savini, who had not returned for part 2 or part 3, was invited by the director Zito to work on this film to help kill off Jason, the kind of the character that he had a hand in creating.
And I've heard him in many interviews be like, yeah, I made him. I wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
And it's like, kill him. He fucking did.
Yeah. He gets to work with Ted White. Now, Ted White was the stunt actor who plays Jason Voorhees in this. And Ted White he was a stuntman and an actor kind of for a long, long time because he doubled for Clark Gable and John Wayne in several films.
Wow.
He did stunt work in Creature from the Black Lagoon and Revenge of the Creature.
Damn.
Planet of the Apes and Escape from New York. And then later he also would do stunt work in Too Fast, Too Furious and Tokyo Drift.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Like, was this all planned?
No,
nothing's
planned. Ted White also acted in a movie, an 81 horror film called Demonoid. He acted in Tron.
Oh, shit.
And after this, he starred in Starman, the John Carpenter film from 84. And then he was also in a movie called The Hidden, which was produced by Robert Shea and directed by Jack Shoulder, who is the director we'll talk about next week on Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. But what's funny is like Ted White, he and Savini did not get along immediately on set. Ted kind of refused to talk to a lot of the other actors during production because he thought that like socializing would kind of diminish their fear of Jason. So he was very standoffish. But he and Tom, they were shooting a scene and Tom kind of tried to give him a little coaching. And Ted said something along the lines of like, hey, yeah, you're the makeup guy. So why don't you just do the makeup and I'll do the acting and the stunts, okay? And they shoot the rest of the scene. And then Tom Savini's like, hey, I just want you to know, I do stunts as well. And he, like in interviews, he tells that story and he's like, I really thought he was going to hit me after that.
Yeah.
I thought the next thing that happened was going to be just a fist to the side of my head. And instead, Ted's like, oh, yeah, I guess I had heard that about you. And then they were just like pals after that.
Well, that's nice.
So
it's kind of weird. Like, I get the whole trying to get into the head of somebody who's imposing for that reason. And I will say that his work as Jason in this, it's like everybody's favorite Jason is Kane Hodder. But this is really good. This is probably the next best.
Yeah, no, I would agree there.
We mentioned in last week's episode that he has a sort of Frankenstein's monster quality in part 3, and they dial that up in this one. He's like he throws somebody through a thing, which we'll get to. Yep. I'm not going to talk about it now, but it's like his arms like stick straight out as he throws it, like he doesn't know how to use them. And it's just like at one point, and again, jumping way ahead, but at one point he's being attacked, like a survivor is fighting back, and he like kind of thrashes, and in doing so he smashes a lamp. And he's just like, it's like a monster, and it's really good.
No, that's a really good observation.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And then finally, the filming started in October of 1983, and it went through January of 1984. If you hadn't noticed, this is the first time where it took 2 years for the actual release of the film. Before this it was 80, 81, 82. And so this one's in 84. They shot in Topanga Canyon in Newhall, California. And originally, Paramount wanted to release this film in October of 84, but then a window opened up so that they could release it in April instead. And so director Joseph Zito had said that they could complete the film faster than they had originally planned. But this led to Zito and Frank Mancuso Jr. and the crew of editors essentially like locking themselves in a house in Malibu, just editing around the clock to get it done on time.
It sounds like producer Ty.
Yeah, truly. We can't thank him enough.
Well, and he does all that, of course, for a single Pringle, which is a throwback to very early episodes of this show.
It says you're a dead fuck. What? A dead fuck? A lousy lay. You know? A dead peck. Oh, I see. Oh, don't hold it back from me, Doc. I can take it. Give it to me straight. I did not say it. The computer did. Yeah, well, there is no computer. Aha. And there's no Betty, either. And I'm a dead fuck. Like I said, the computer don't lie. God, I'm horny.
We chose that clip for 2 reasons. The first reason is not a lot of this movie is available online.
Nothing that isn't just like the kill scenes or like people running around, which is not really usable for what we try and do with these clips. Because a lot of times they're filled with just people screaming and shrieking, and then a lot of score, which will probably get us flagged somewhere. So
the other thing is that, and we're going to talk about this many times, it will dot this review. If you love this movie, you know exactly what we're talking about. Crispin Glover is so goddamned weird.
Yeah.
And he's wonderful. He's great. He is my favorite part of this movie, but he is like if you know the classic joke, like an alien comes to Earth after monitoring humanity, but he kind of gets it wrong. This is like there's a further alien who's watching that alien.
Oh, a copy of a copy.
Yeah, it's starting to run out of toner.
Yeah,
by the time you get to Crispin Glover.
Yeah, there are some choices being made by that actor.
Yes. Now, a lot of you are thinking, guys, nobody's doing this, but I'm going to roll with it. They're going, guys, you know, in your last review, I don't know why I'm doing fucking Michael J. Fox. The Doc, you said he was dead.
Well, because that's his son.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. But not in the second one.
Not in the second
People
one.
always think it is, but it's not. So a lot of you are thinking, guys, you mentioned very, very exclusively that Jason had a machete placed into his cranium in the last film and perished. We thought he did. The ambulance takes him into a hospital. And this is, the beginning of this film is a bunch of the previous films.
Yeah, it's a montage.
Always is. But this is the worst.
Yeah, because it's like, just from an editing standpoint, it's kind of neat because they're cutting around from like, it's the campfire scene from part 2.
But that's why I think it's the worst. Because it's not anything new.
Yeah.
They literally recycle it's all old footage.
Oh, yeah.
But they're recycling even the expositional dialogue at this point. And it's like, guys, just write a narration.
Yeah, either that or just start the movie where you start the movie after this.
Right, because it is within the next half an hour is they take Jason's body and they load it up.
Yeah.
They drive it to a hospital, and from like the free, which is weird because it looks like it's like a morgue section of this hospital where a lot of things are weird. Like number one, why do you have a TV in this area that can broadcast network television into it in a morgue?
I mean, he's down there working on dead bodies all the time. He needs to, watch his workout videos.
Yeah. Which is this the very first example in multimedia? Whatever video that he's watching, is that the first example of twerking? Because that's all it is he's sitting down there hacking apart dead bodies, and he can show him nude because they ain't got no soul. But he's down there doing his work, and there's just these people in like horrible 80s like leotards and spandex, and they're just shaking their butts.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what exercise they're supposed to be doing.
Also, he's got a weird, like in the past, I think the weirdest name has been the stoner lady from the last one. Do you know?
Chili?
Yeah. Like that's a weird name to have. Yeah. And then this guy's named Axel, which is weird. But we open with Axel, who is with a nurse whose name I do not know.
Yeah, Nurse Morgan.
I will never know any of these names.
You see it on her name tag. That's how I know.
Nice. Is she in the credits?
Yeah.
As a nurse or Morgan?
I think it's Nurse Morgan.
Oh, okay. That's good. But yeah, they're sitting down there. Nothing important happens here. Although this is a good example of another time where two people who seem juxtaposed.
Yes.
It's the same thing in Halloween too, but then it happens a lot in this series where it's like, I fucking hate you. Like, you are such a pig. You were so annoying. Now get over here and fuck me. And it's so weird.
It's strange that, because we've talked about how like, you have your characters who are kind of your goofball, and they are very annoying to some of the women in this movie, and it's just like, well, why don't they like me? Why aren't they into me? It's like, because you're annoying.
Because you're a piece of shit. Yeah.
And this is kind of like the extreme of that, of like just an absolute dog. And they're like, oh, you're a pig. I hate you. And then he's just like, but you're going to come see me down there, right? Because that's all I want you for. And she's like, no, I'm definitely not. And then the next scene, she just walks down into the morgue and is just like, okay, I'm here for
sex now. Yeah.
I'm just like, okay. I mean, it's just how they're written at the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
This immediately sets this next moment sets this one apart from the previous two. Not the first, but the previous two. Where it's going to be something special because Tom Savini is... like, he's obviously the best, one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game, as far as making practical effects stand out. But it's like, you don't really know that that's what you've been missing. In part 2, they cut away from a lot and they don't show you a lot of the action. And in 3, they do. And there's good effect work in 3, but it's not the same. And if it is, it's really like kind of ripping off like the thing through the neck and him with the body that he shoved into the rafters.
It's all referential to the work that Tom Savini did.
Right. Except the pee under the bed in part 2. That's gross. That's weird. He wouldn't do that.
That was real though. Axel Burns is played by Bruce Mahler. And the only other thing that I thought was interesting is that he is in Police Academies 1, 2, 3, and 6.
Weird. And
then Nurse Morgan is played by Lisa Freeman, who was in Back to the Future 1 and 2.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I believe she is, whenever he goes back in time and meets his mom, it's like the mom's friend in the 50s.
Let me ask, am I doing this? When I say things, do they just link together?
Yeah.
That's weird. He and she begin their tomfoolery, and Tom Savini decides that he doesn't like that anymore. And so Jason awakens from cold storage.
Yeah, I like that because they like put his body into the cold locker. I don't know what you call that. Slides him in, and then as Axel's like closing the door, you see Jason exhale. because of the like condensation. Like you see his breath.
I didn't notice that.
And then the door doesn't close all the way, but Axel doesn't realize.
Because he's got,
Yeah, blood, flesh, just going everywhere else.
I was going to say his mind on the money and the money on his mind.
Oh, well, that's probably better.
But Jason comes out after they've had their little mingle. And then the rest of this scene is just murder. And in an excellent effect. And you and I watched some behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really cool how they did it. But also, if you guys watch our show, you should, like, if you can put your hands on some of these 4K re-releases, they've got the best behind the scenes shit.
Yeah. Shout Factory always does a really good job with their special features.
Shout Factory and Arrow.
Oh, yeah.
But
Arrow's great.
Other re-releases might suck. He's watching this. Axel's watching these women in leotards twerk, and Jason lifts his head backwards. He's grabbed a hacksaw off of a table and like drags it into his neck. Immediately, blood is gushing.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it looks so good. It has separated this gap between like where his thyroid is. And it's so sickening. And then Jason being a monster and impatient, because he could have killed him. Like he's dead at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially like the serrated blade damage to the skin. Like, yeah, he's probably going to bleed out.
There's no coming back.
But instead, Jason's like, and he twists his head all the way around.
Yes. Which I love seeing all the different parts of that because it is like 3 different setups to get that effect. And something that we really noticed in our rewatches, like it's the fast editing of these kills.
Yes.
That you honestly just see parts of it for probably frames. But it all flashes in your brain and like you connect all of the parts there.
You see it for flashes, but the other thing that it serves to do is it is like the rest of this movie, because there's like a family drama baked into this movie, and in 2 ways. And we'll get to there's a brother of a survivor from the previous film in this movie. So that's a family drama in 2 ways that kind of intersect, but then also the classic kids at a party at the house next door. And you have all of these things happening. And so it is both like an Animal House, National Lampoon comedy playing out, but then like a boner comedy sex movie. But then next to it is like Boy Meets World. Oh, because of Corey. Oh, and they shot in Topanga.
Yeah.
Weird.
Very weird.
See, I'm the best at this,
all coming together.
Yeah. Everything's a reference if you work hard enough, but, you have all these stories playing out. They're completely normal stories, but those quick cuts, those edits are almost like nauseatingly fast. They cut away from these things so quickly and so frantically that it's like it completely disrupts what you're watching. And it also, to me, I think on a subconscious level, to me, it's also like, oh, because this could happen at any time to any of them, and it takes no time at all.
Yes.
And we'll get to it in a bit, but the Jim kill in this, the Crispin Glover kill, is the best example of that, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really gross.
Because the kills that they don't do that fast editing on, those are the ones that aren't as good to me. And I think it's more of like the performances of the people being killed that then come off as like not great.
We have a whole conversation baked in from the dialogue of this movie about how some of these kills are maybe a bit dragged out.
Yeah, a little bit.
But the next one's nothing special. He kills her with I think it's it's
a scalpel or something. They're in a hospital. But yeah, she is like in this storage closet, and she thinks that Axel is coming in behind her. She's cleaning something up off the ground because she dropped something. And Jason like picks her up by the throat and slams her up against the wall and then like guts her up or down the torso with a scalpel. But yeah, I mean, pretty standard stuff, but our first 2 kills and then we're on to the main storyline, because then we're introduced to the Jarvis family.
Yeah.
Tracy Jarvis is the mother, played by Joan Freeman. She was in a 1962 sci-fi thriller called Panic in Year Zero. She was in Tower of London, which is a Vincent Price horror film from 1962. And she was in The Reluctant Astronaut, which is a sci-fi comedy from 1967 starring Don Knotts. And she was in the 1978 horror film Death Moon. This is actually the final film of Joan Freeman. Her daughter Trish Jarvis is played by Kimberly Beck, who was in the 1964 Hitchcock film Marnie. She was in a 1976 horror film called Massacre at Central High. She was in Nightmare at Noon, which is like a B movie, like a zombie film. And then she was in a 90s horror film called Playroom and a 91 adventure fantasy called Adventures in Dinosaur City, which I've never seen, but I love the poster for, and I really want to see it.
Anything with dinosaurs you want to see.
Truly.
Yeah.
It's just dinosaurs and the Fast and the Furious. That's all I watch. Trish and Miss Jarvis, they're jogging through the woods, and you get like some POV shots from kind of the hill above them, like seemingly looking down at them. They make it home. They're talking about basically Mrs. Jarvis is separated or possibly divorced from her husband, and so they're kind of talking about Trish has talked to her dad recently, and they're you're building those family dynamics of who these people are, and
right.
They make it home, and you're introduced to Tommy Jarvis, who is a name which we will be speaking about over the next 3 films.
Yeah, many.
This one, he is played by Corey Feldman, who was in Gremlins for Joe Dante in 1984. He was in The Goonies for Richard Donner in 1985.
I did this bit earlier.
He was in Stand By Me for Rob Reiner in 1986. And then he was in The Lost Boys in 1987.
Are you going to be okay talking about that movie?
I think that movie is directed by Joel Schumacher, if I'm not mistaken. I've never seen it, so I don't know.
He also directed Batman.
But then Corey Feldman was also in The Burbs for Joe Dante, and he was, I don't know if you know this, he was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 and 2 as Donatello.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm going to surprise you with this one. Haven't seen those movies.
Really?
Yeah, the live action
The
TMNT
90s
movies. Yeah, no, I haven't seen them.
The first 2 are pretty good.
Actually, as I think about it, I don't think I've ever seen a TMNT movie because I didn't see the Michael Bay ones, and I haven't seen the newer animated one that Seth Rogen had a big part of. I didn't see that.
Oh,
either.
that one was fantastic.
That's what I hear. But yeah,
I also like the early aughts. I want to say like 2004 TMNT movie that was animated. That one was pretty good as well. I'm a big turtle fan, so
just the animal or the teenage ones.
Pretty much any way you can.
On the half shell?
On the half shell.
Yeah.
Tommy Jarvis we're introduced to him and he's wearing like an alien mask.
Yes. Which I said at the time, like the first time we rewatched this, because I'd only seen it once.
Yeah.
And it was a couple years ago, but seeing him turn around in that mask, I was like, oh, that's right. Tom Savini used this movie as a portfolio. Like, look at me, look at my work.
Yeah. Tommy Jarvis is he makes and customizes monster masks and like puppets and gags and stuff.
Right. But we're like, okay, so I'm going to a movie that we did not review. Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Right.
Michael is obsessed with masks.
Yeah.
And like by the time you catch up with him as an adult, and he's in the like mental hospital, he's in Smith's Grove, but in this universe, Rob Zombie's universe, his cell is covered in masks, and he makes masks out of like everything, like cardboard and bags and paper,
whatever he can find.
But like Tommy Jarvis is making like supreme masks, and it's like y'all didn't think that was weird. Where is he getting the silicone? Like, where is he getting the molds for these?
What's funny is like, I mean, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
What's funny is that like a lot of times whenever you read the books of, or you watch documentaries of like Tom Savini, Greg Nicotero, people like that, the way that they kind of got their start was before Fangoria, there was a magazine series called Famous Monsters. Is it Famous Monsters? Yeah, I think.
Infamous Monsters.
And so you would get like little behind the scenes things there. But there were early makeup artists that would like you could write them letters or they would, so kids who were like interested in this stuff could like reach out to them and be like, hey, how did you do this in this movie or whatever? And a lot of times that they would share their secrets and kind of be like, usher in the next generation of.
That's really cool. Yeah.
So it's kind of that. And then they would just these kids would then figure out ways of like building the molds to then be able to make these masks. And things that you could, mix in the house by yourself and kind of make, not silicone, I guess, but different materials that you could make to make a rough mask.
The opposite of Lon Chaney.
Mm-hmm.
Who Lon Chaney was like, no, this is my secret to the fucking grave.
Didn't even tell his son. And his son was a wolfman.
The wolfman.
We're also introduced to the idea, we don't see him yet, of the Jarvis dog.
Oh.
Gordon.
And their dynamic is a good one. I like the family. I like their performances. Corey Feldman is obviously, he was such a gifted kid and he was so talented. And the two that would not go on to be as obviously successful in the 80s as Corey Feldman, they're both fine. She's a good, it's very sitcom.
Yeah.
Very Full House. Very and also a beautiful set.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love these houses. It gives you a lot of different areas to play in. And then, kind of you don't do a lot of stuff outside in this one. You're on the lake for a little bit. And then you got a little bit of the woods, but that's basically just the tent set that Rob's at.
Yeah. And what's funny is I think in the last movie I mentioned that when you see Jason out in the woods, he's very good at being kind of clandestine and hides in the shadows and blends in well. And then when you see him in the barn or in the house in part 3, he is just tearing through, busting through walls, busting through doors. This is a great blending of the things because it's a house and it's a house in the dead center of the woods. It's surrounded by trees. There's a man camping in their yard because it's in the trees. It's in the woods. So he gets to do a bit of both in this one, which I like.
Yeah. But it's still, I guess, in the, it's on the lake of Camp Crystal.
Yeah. But the sister and he have that classic, oh my God, you're such a dweeb. Come on. Cause he is much younger than she is.
Yeah. But there's this moment later on whenever they're having dinner where, they're kind of going back and forth of just oh, I thought we were doing, pizza tonight. And it's no, we got to do leftovers. Oh, you don't want my tuna salad. And then they do what they call the Jarvis sandwich. And the sister and the mom kind of squash Tommy between them and kind of they all have this family hug. And it's just it feels like a thing that happens, on a daily basis.
If their family feels like it has an age to it, it exists and has developed its own, it's grown its own wings and they do their own things. And Tommy Jarvis in this movie is a bit of a perv. Because he's a little boy.
Yeah.
And he's edging towards puberty.
Right.
And he is becoming kind of problematic and cutting ahead just a little bit. There's a point where our other cast has come to the house next door, which is a very prototypical Airbnb. And they're there and he has a view across the woods into the bedroom. And there's a girl taking his top off and he is doing this dance on his bed. He's jumping up and down on it, but he's leaning forward the whole time. So he's smashing his head to the bed.
And I love that. I think it's very it seems very realistic.
Yeah.
It's he doesn't a kid that age doesn't know what he's feeling.
Right.
And that but he also knows that he's not supposed to be looking at this. And but oh my God, I just looked out the window and there it is.
Yeah. And he's excited and he's happy and he's doing a little fucking happy dance.
Yeah.
And it's so the dynamic of that, let's get to, because we move we meet our other cast.
Yeah.
And they're in a Wrangler, a Jeep Wrangler, and it's got its everything's off. There's only a couple conversations that happen here that are worth mentioning, and one of them is silent. But you are going to have to go over the, I can give you 2 characters' names.
Really?
I can give you 2 of them.
Okay.
And I'll be able to reference these characters by their first name, not their last name, their first name, the entire movie.
I bet.
But it's only because of the conversation that we played in our clip. You have Ted. Ted is the stoner. He is basically nonverbal for the entire third act of this film.
Yeah.
And he's barely in the third act. And then you have Jimbo, who is played by Crispin Glover.
Yeah. Ted Cooper is played by Lawrence Monason. He was in The Last American Virgin, which was a an 82 kind of raunchy comedy. He was in Final Judgment, which was a 92 thriller starring Brad Dourif. And he's in Starship Troopers 2, which is the straight to video sequel. and then he did some sporadic TV work. And then Jimmy Mortimer is played by Crispin Glover, who, as we've said, is in Back to the Future in 85. He's in the David Lynch film from 1990 called Wild at Heart. He is in the 2003 horror film Willard, which is a remake of a film. I don't know when the original came out, but Willard is like a guy who has a connection with rats. I've never seen either version of that movie.
There's not a better person on earth to
he
play
is
that character.
spot on for the role. And then he's in the 2006 horror film Simon, The Wizard of Gore from 2007. And then he's in the Alice in Wonderland, the Tim Burton version in 2010. I'm sure you know this.
Yeah, I was actually, if you didn't mention it, I was going to say.
Go ahead.
Because the way this happened was so funny. Watching, so Guillermo del Toro releases a Netflix series of just like little short films, one after the other, that are all varying ranges of horror, which is funny because one of them is about rats. But there is one of my favorite Lovecraft stories is the Pickman Art Gallery. I love that short story. I've read it several times. I like things, surprisingly enough, Fallout, the game series, has a lot of references to Lovecraft tales and Lovecraft stories. In Fallout 4, you know, the Dunwich Horror?
Yeah.
So in Fallout 4, there is a quarry that is like a marble quarry that they are digging down into. And as they went further and further down, people began to lose their minds. And you can find tapes that you can play in your Pip-Boy of those people losing their fucking minds. And as you get further and further down, you see the name of the mining company is the Dunwich Borers.
Oh my God.
So they do a lot of that stuff. But one of them is there is a painter who you meet and he asks for your help. And then eventually you realize that you're helping him murder people, and his name is Pickman. And he gives you a knife that does like extra damage to make people bleed. And it is called like Pickman's Dagger. But the location is called Pickman's Gallery.
That's great.
But in that, who plays Pickman, I don't even think that's who he's named. It may be a direct reference like that, but I don't remember it being that way. I've only seen it the once. But the Pickman substitute is played by Crispin Glover. And we're sitting there and we're watching it because he's aged pretty well, but he has aged. We're sitting there watching it and like, I fucking know this guy from somewhere. Like it's driving me crazy. And then out of nowhere, I'm watching it with Carly and I go, is that fucking Crispin Glover? And she's like, I don't, is it? And I was like, I think it fucking is. And I was just waiting for him to bust out in a weird fucking pumpy arm flaily dance, because then I would have known.
There's no mistaking that dance.
Bumpy armed flailing dance.
But as we heard in our clip, they're talking about Jimmy breaking up with BJ Betty, as Ted calls her.
Yeah. And he's trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
Turns out he's a dead fuck.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Jimmy, he doesn't like to be called that.
No.
Because he says it several times throughout the movie.
My favorite part about that conversation is Crispin. So anytime Crispin Glover is supposed to act in this movie, he does things that I absolutely love. And they are so normal in their writing and so weirdly performed. It's him saying, what? Because Ted goes, it says you're a dead fuck. And he goes, what? It's like so fast. It sounds like a whip crack. It's like, what are you doing, bro? It's so good. I love it so much.
His timing is so odd, but like perfect.
Yeah, it is. And he has like a timeless affectation to his voice where he both sounds like a very young teenage, like late teens, early 20s man, or he sounds like a 1920s radio announcer.
Yeah.
It is, and there's no in between. He just bounces back and forth.
They're driving along, they have that conversation, but they stop by a roadside graveyard. And this is where we actually I mentioned it in one of our early, I guess the Friday the 13th discussion. But this is where Pamela Voorhees gets a first name officially.
Yeah.
Because we see her headstone, Pamela Voorhees, 1930 to 1979. At rest is what it says. So this is also, we've mentioned this, where in the timeline, it resets things to where if her death then takes place in 79, then this is now 1984, not 1985. It's also the first Friday the 13th movie to take place in the year that it was released.
Oh, okay.
Because of, you know, how the time jump from part 1 to part 2.
Right. This is the weirdest thing in the movie, maybe. Mm-hmm. It's the silent conversation. They're driving and they see a hitchhiker. And the hitchhiker is got a sign and it's like in rainbow letters.
Yeah, she's like a hippie.
Yeah. And it's, you know, like need a ride or whatever. She's clearly hitchhiking.
Yeah, love and Canada, I think is what the sign says.
Right. And they're like, get fucked. They
pretty much
off out of the car like teenagers do. And so she flips the sign around and I think it says fuck off.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you just have that because so many people are mocking you to your face. But she sits down and it's the weirdest decision ever. She sits down like on the side of the road, the hitchhiker does, to eat a banana.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Why do you need to eat that right now? And you said it's probably just a squeeze and reaction.
Yeah, because they get that reaction shot during the kill where she squeezes the banana and it comes out of the top of the peel. I hate this scene.
Yeah, me too.
I hate like shots where you see people eat and you're like really up close on their mouth, and especially like if they get things caught on their lips, that just disgusts me.
It's also the misophonia of like, especially a banana or like noodles or something like that. Like, you know, it's like if you ever work with someone who, you know, maybe in the back room or, you know, you go to like a lunch break or whatever.
Right.
And they just eat with their mouth open.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's the most grating, irresponsible thing.
Yeah. Cause if I were sitting back there and I was hearing that, like I'm trying to do, you know, receiving or whatever.
Right.
I'd have to leave. I would have to get up and like go somewhere else. It's like, I'd rather be out on the floor with customers than hearing that.
Yeah. And I mean, typically the kind of person who's going to eat with their mouth open doesn't want to go out on the floor and do their job anyway. But, you know, it's just the worst person round around. But what I keep coming back to is that the kill is amazing.
Yeah.
And it is diminished by the banana in her mouth and coming out because it turns my stomach, but not in the way I want a horror movie to turn my stomach. It's like, that's real world shit. And I hate that.
Yeah. I don't like looking at it. I will say, like, I don't know. And we watch, like you said, we were watching the behind the scenes. You kind of see like extended cuts of the rough cuts of them actually shooting the stunts and the effects. Because, you know, you set up an entire thing for them to show maybe a second of the footage. But even watching that over and over again, you see the knife because Jason comes up out of the woods, grabs her by the hair, and then stabs her through the back of the neck with a knife, and you see it come out through the front of her neck.
Which is interesting because obviously they've done that bit twice now. Obviously the famous bit of that is Kevin Bacon gets the arrowhead punched through his neck in the first. But what I will say is that in this one, the effect is... It's different enough that it holds its own weight because the thing extruding is so much bigger.
Yes. And the thing that I don't understand, even watching it over and over again, is like, I don't know where that actress's actual neck then is in the appliance, because like it comes through not dead center of the throat,
right?
But like, you know, maybe to the right side of it.
Yeah.
But it's like, is her neck just so thin? Like her actual neck is so thin that it's just they're barely next to it in the prosthetic and punching through. Cause I don't know, man. It just, I'm looking at it and I'm like, where is her neck? How is she hiding? Because it's not built the same way as Kevin Bacon is like, you know, it's a fake torso.
And he's seated. Yeah.
Seated at a different angle. There's nowhere to hide her at the angle. So I don't know.
Maybe they just fucking killed that girl.
Yeah. I've never seen her in anything else.
She's eating a banana and they were like, man, fuck that. And he just, you know, and it was Tom Savini that day.
Yeah.
He murdered a lady.
So yeah, the rest of the kids make it to the house next to the Jarvis house. The rest of this group here, once they make it to the house there, and they meet very briefly Trish and Tommy and Gordon whenever they arrive. But the rest of the group is made up of a couple couples, basically. So you have Samantha Lane, who is played by Judy Aronson, She was in Weird Science, which is a John Hughes coming of age movie from 85. She's in American Ninja, which is an action movie from 85, a horror anthology from 89 called After Midnight, a slasher film called The Sleeping Car, and then she also is a news reporter in Hannibal, the 2001 Hannibal film.
Okay. I like that movie quite a bit. That's fun.
And she
It's crazy that was 2001.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Sam is dating Paul, and Paul Guthrie is played by Alan Hayes. He was in Neon Maniacs, which was a sci-fi horror film from 86. He was in Bold and the Beautiful for 63 episodes of that soap opera. He's in The Gingerbread Man, which is a 98 legal thriller starring Kenneth Branagh and Robert Downey Jr. And then Alan Hayes, this actor, also wrote the screenplay for that movie.
Weird.
Apparently. The other couple is Sarah, who is Sarah Parkington, played by Barbara Howard. She was in Racing with the Moon, which was an 84 drama, also starring Crispin Glover. She was in 27 episodes of, I don't know if they consider it a soap opera, but the show Falcon Crest, I've never seen.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it either.
I've heard of it, but same thing. And then she was in the 88 dark comedy Lucky Stiff, which was directed by Anthony Perkins.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, it is the only other film that Anthony Perkins ever directed besides Psycho 3.
Okay.
And then
she realized he wasn't very good at it.
I mean, I haven't seen Psycho 3, but that's what I hear.
Yeah.
He was not very good. And then she was also in Amityville, The New Generation, or A New Generation, which was from 93. And it was straight to video, the 7th entry in the Amityville horror franchise. Have not seen it. I've only seen the original and the remake. But she is then dating Doug Bell, who's played by Peter Barton, who we spoke about before. He was in Hell Night, which was a slasher from 81, starred Linda Blair. He was also in The Powers of Matthew Starr, all 22 episodes of the sci-fi TV show with Amy Steele. And then he was in 211 episodes of Young and the Restless and 167 episodes of Sunset Beach.
Damn.
Yeah.
He's committed.
That's how sitcoms are, man.
Yeah.
Because it's like every day of the week, you've got another episode. So they go forever. But yeah, they make it to the house there. I love that because in the early scene with Axel and the nurse, you see a news report talking about the killing spree, the Crystal Lake massacre. Mrs. Jarvis is reading a newspaper that has a headline of mass murderer's body goes missing or something. And this is where Tommy watches Sam get undressed and that whole bit that we talked about. Yeah. But the next morning, that's when we bump into the twins. So the whole group of teens are like, I guess they're going out to a swimming hole on the lake somewhere. My assumption
is that these people live right off of Crystal Lake.
Yeah, they're going to somewhere where they call Crystal Point, I guess. So I guess it's a specific part of the lake or whatever.
Yeah. Which, remember, is so big that it connects to Manhattan.
That is true. We don't know that yet.
But we know it eventually.
You can fit an entire, not a cruise ship. I don't know what kind of
like a cruise liner.
Yeah. But yeah, we bump into the twins, Tina and Terry. Tina Moore is played by Camilla Moore, spelled differently, More versus Moore.
I don't like the world we live in.
She was in Days of Our Lives for 118 episodes. She was in The Dark Side of the Moon, which is a 1990 sci-fi horror film. And she was in Red Wind, which was a giallo from 91. And then 11 episodes of General Hospital. Her sister Terry is played by Carrie Moore.
But that one's spelled the same way.
They both were in Calendar Girl Murders, which was a TV thriller from 84. The Twin, which was a French comedy film from 84. Both of them were also in that. And Carrie Moore was in Once Bitten, which was a vampire parody film that I believe Jim Carrey is in. Okay. And then also did 17 episodes of Days of Our Lives. They are the Doublemint twins. They just come bicycling up out of the woods, And they're like, oh, yeah, we know where Crystal Point is. And then they all go over there to eventually skinny dip.
Right. Which is another moment where Tommy Jarvis is a perv.
Yes.
Because it's like they're all out in Crystal Point. And this is what we were talking about by this is an insane amount of nudity. Because it's like everybody's tops are off.
Well, also, we get an amazing delivery from Crispin Glover here of the twins go into the water. They have bathing suits. They go out into the water. And there's like a rope swing, and the twins are like, "Come on!"
Yeah,
and Ted and Jimmy, who are like the two single guys, are immediately just like, "Oh, there's two of them for us." But they call them to get in the water, and Jimmy's just like, "No, we don't have any suits." And Ted is just like, "What are you talking about? Like we could just." And then Doug or whatever the other guy's name is swings out and like he strips down and is just like, let's skinny dip. And then everyone just immediately starts taking their clothes off.
Yeah. It is just the it's like, oh woo. It's those movies where techno music plays and everyone just gets naked.
Might as well.
But it's instead of that, it's just a guy on a rope swing. But another weird thing happens. And again, I do not know any of these characters' names with the exception of Tommy Jarvis. I've already forgotten his sister and his mother's names. I know Tommy Jarvis and I know Jimbo,
right?
Whose name I now know is Jimbo Mortimer because Mortimer is the evil rat from Mickey Mouse cartoons. Yep. And I'll remember that. And then I remember.
Well, and then he was in Willard where he's, talks to rats.
There it is. There's the byline. And then I don't know Ted's last name and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Who cares? And the twins, I've forgotten their names, but their last names are Moore, but spelled M-O-R-E. Is it backwards?
You're backwards.
Well, throw another O on there. Who gives a fuck? Like SpaghettiOs. But so you've got all these people. And so whichever the one who's like kind of the chaste one, who's like, no, I don't want a skinny dip. And then you have one of the ones that didn't care and was like, no, take your tits out on camera for money. And she was like, sounds good. Cause that's what her character is.
Yeah.
And it's so the very like, not
Sarah. Yeah.
Okay, great. There it is. I couldn't coax the name out of you fast enough. And then the other one.
Samantha.
Oh, fuck
That's
you.
SNS.
God damn it. So Sarah's sitting on the dock and Samantha's like, come on, get in. Take your titties out. Get in.
Strip and dip.
And Sarah's like, no, I don't want to do that. And she's like, okay. And then it's like our first little reminder tease in a while that this is a horror movie.
Right.
Because she comes like
she basically says, if you don't get in, I'm going to go under and hold my breath until you do.
Right. And which is awesome to threaten to kill yourself to get people to do what you want. That's the coolest thing a person can do.
Yeah. It's not manipulative at all.
No, it is.
But yeah, she goes under the water and under the dock.
And then she comes like floating out and she's doing the most like
cross-eyed.
It's basically like if the girl from The Ring wasn't scary. She's like the most like face and she comes floating out and like the score swells. That classic Harry Manfredini score just swells really big. Score's fine in this. It's nothing. We're never going to have to talk about any of these until we get to the later ones because the later ones, it sucks. But early on, it's all great.
Yeah.
She comes floating out and Sarah's like, oh my God. And then he's like, gotcha, bitch. Grabs her. And it's like, what was this for?
I don't know.
But the thing is, normally I would suggest that it was to show that our female lead isn't willing to do that, isn't willing to like, expose her body in front of these people. But that's not our fucking lead.
Right.
That's just another character for the slaughter. That's not a lead.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the only thing it really achieves is just to set Samantha and Sarah apart from each other and how different they are as people. But then also that, I mean, this is a friend group and we're kind of seeing, how they play against each other and how they kind of pick at each other and joke and things like that. So, yeah. And then our lead, Trish and Tommy, they do stumble upon them there.
Right. Trish. That's her name. And the Doublemint twins are like, oh my God, Trish. Hey, Trish, why don't you get in here? And she looks over and they're all naked.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, no. And then she turns Tommy's head around and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm not supposed to look. And he's like genuinely frustrated by this.
I love his interactions with Gordon in this, because whenever they get back in the car, because they invite her to the party that they're throwing, and then she's like, I think I'm overdressed for this. And then they leave, and Tommy says something to Gordon of just like, we're not old enough to see that yet, Gordon. And I don't know, his little interactions with that dog are hilarious to me.
But Gordon's also a very, very cute golden retriever. Very good dog.
Yeah. Good dog actor.
Nothing bad happens to Gordon.
Not yet.
Until it does.
But Trish, their car breaks down.
Yeah.
And
you and I had like
there was a
misunderstanding. Yeah. So their car breaks and they have like the little crappy yellow whatever it is, and it pulls up. Actually, I think it might be red, but it pulls up and it's broken down.
And Tommy gets out to like take a look at the engine,
right?
Because originally Tommy, I don't know if it was going to be in addition to him making special effects masks, but he was also going to be kind of an inventor.
I just took it. Yeah, that's how I took it, because they don't really explain.
Yeah, they kind of cut it out.
But I just take it that, he's a gifted kid. He's just a smart kid. Because she's like, can you take a look? And he's like, I don't know. His line delivery might as well be like, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. Like, he's like, he kind of pokes it a little bit. And he's like, I don't know. And then you see what we know as the viewers with our meta knowledge is Jason's feet. At this point, Jason from 3 and this is wearing the same clothing, which is like a pair of like black kind of army boots, gray, like slackish jeans, and then a green button down shirt.
Yeah.
But we see his gray pants and his black boots. So if you see his boots, you know he's the killer.
Yeah.
Same thing with Ghostface, Freddy. Their most identifiable feature are their boots. But we see his pants and shoes, and he kind of walks forward. And then a new character, we're introduced to a new character who then steps out. And you go, oh, okay, it was him. Right. It's a misdirect. But it's not. It isn't in any way. You just are led to think it is. And I think that's a good bit of directing. I think it's a good bit of screenplay. And I think that it was handled really well, because you spend just enough time on Jason's legs to get worried, but then you're never focused on it never goes, oh no, look at the pants color or whatever. But if you're not really paying attention to that, you may miss it. And I think that's smart.
Yeah. I like the editing there. Because it doesn't feel like a trick, because it still feels like Jason is probably around.
Right.
And there's still that like kind of nervousness there. This is Rob Deere. He is played by E. Eric Anderson, who was in Missing in Action, which was directed by Joseph Zito. He was in the war drama from '88 called Bat 21. And then he was in a horror film in '97 called Night Watch, which stars Ewan McGregor, Patricia Arquette, and Brad Dourif.
How have I not seen this movie?
I don't know.
I love all those people.
And then he's done some sporadic TV work as well. But he's backpacking. He helps them start their car. And so they give him a ride back to their place.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you who his sibling's supposed to be, because if I can't remember his fucking name, no way I'm remembering the name from the exposition.
Yeah, that doesn't really get revealed until later.
Yeah.
But he does end up being the brother of Sandra from part 2. So Sandra is the one who gets impaled on the bed with the spear with her boyfriend.
Okay.
And
she got speared twice.
Yeah.
I think we made that joke then.
We did.
I'm not original.
At least you're just ripping us off. Hack frauds.
I rip you off.
What?
I stole your goddamn identity.
Oh my God. My credit score.
Yeah. Speaking of stolen identity, he's then super weird and is like, okay, well, thanks for the ride. I'm going to go camp in the woods out front of your house. I'm sorry. That's weird. I would have given it a hard no.
It's down the path. She sends him down that path.
Yeah. But like, because he then has to like, they are nebulous to each other now. And they pop in and it's like, he's clearly close to them.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no. Go get in the lake.
No.
Camp in a canoe. Now, here's the question. If he goes out in the lake, right, and he's all dizzy and he's like paddling in the canoe or whatever.
Right.
The first time, little tiny baby Jason pops out.
Right.
Second time, Pamela Voorhees pops out. Who pops out this time?
Papa Voorhees.
Is that like Papa Voorhees owns a pizza chain?
Yeah.
He has said horribly problematic things.
Yeah, whenever they make pizza, the toppings make each pizza look like a hockey mask.
Spooky ingredients, spooky pizza, Papa Voorhees. Oh my God. I think his name does get mentioned in one of the later movies, what the father's name was. I think it's Elias.
Maybe. We'll find out.
We will, but no, it's so funny.
But yeah, they end up back at the Jarvis house, and Rob is immediately just like, I'm taking off. Thanks for the ride.
It's like,
but then Tommy's like, no, I need to show you stuff up in my room.
Mm-hmm. The mask that he shows him is so weird.
Yeah.
It's like cockeyed, like its eyes are looking off to the other direction. And it looks like something that you would see in like, I don't know, like an 80s monster movie, but direct to TV from the Disney Channel about like the Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Like it's really chintzy and cartoony.
Yeah, like Fuzz Bucket.
I don't know what that is.
The Mick Garris film for Disney.
I still don't know what that is.
If you get on Disney Plus, you can watch Fuzz Bucket, Mick Garris's film for Disney.
Get on Disney Plus and you can watch Fuzz Bucket. Get on Tubi and you can watch everything else.
Yeah.
The difference is that Tubi has no sign-up cost. Anyway, so yeah, and he shows them all his masks and things. And again, the camera pans around the room and Tom Savini's like, yes, we're in the money. And it's just...
It looks a bit like at Universal Studios Orlando, the horror makeup show.
Yes.
Which is one of the only like opening day attractions still there at the park. But it looks a bit like, the set dressing of there, because there's masks that they've built and used over the years just all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Tom Savini gets to show off a little bit of his work and
he deserves it.
Yeah. The puppets are cool. But yeah, when Rob gets done there, he and Trish have this little moment. Like she clearly is like interested in him and she's like, yeah, come back anytime, wherever you're heading, right down the path that leads around the lake.
Get over here and fuck me. It's the second time I've said that. The third time is going to be funny.
It's going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
But then we are at the teen party being thrown next door.
Yes. There are 3 parts of this kind of sequence that are flabbergasting. And this is the part where we are going to have to start just powering through this shit. Yeah. Because none of this matters.
No, it'll be character after character, death.
And we're probably going to do what we always do. We're going to split them into pairs and they're going to die. But the three big things happen here. The first thing is, for no reason, I think it's Paul and Sarah are the two that are coupled together. I think that's who it is. And for some fucking reason, and you and I had this conversation when we rewatched it, and it's like, why the fuck is this happening? And it's like, it just has to be to force one of them outside.
Yeah, Paul and Sam, yeah.
It's Samantha, okay.
Yeah.
So one of the Doublemint twins is like, hey, Paul, get over here and fuck me. I told you it was coming and it still got you. But
amazing.
Yeah. But so...
Tina flirts with Paul,
and like he's like they're like kind of slow dancing, and like she's like way up in his face, and like it's the strangest thing, because why the fuck are you doing this? You're all friends.
Yeah,
it's how it's been established.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. It's like you have your 2 couples, you have Ted and Jimmy, and you have the twins, and so they kind of look like they're gonna pair off that way,
right?
And then, we get our dancing scene, because this is where Jimmy puts on a record and
this is the other thing. This is the other noteworthy thing about this scene is if you guys stop. Okay. I've done this before. I don't like to do it often because I don't want people to click away because I'm scared they might not click back in, but I don't really care if you click back in. First of all, you're an hour and 30 minutes in. It already clocked you as a listen. Gotcha. But other than that, stop listening. Go search Friday the 13th final chapter, Crispin Glover dancing, and just watch it. I could sit and describe it to you, but it does not do it justice.
Yeah.
It is majestic. It is like an exotic bird it is fucking David Attenborough. So David Attenborough is behind it. Like the Crispin, I'm not doing the impression, but he have a lot to say about how amazing it is.
Yeah.
Because it is. And he's dancing like with, I think he walks up to one of the twins and he's like, would you like to dance? And she's like, yeah, sure. And she gets up and then he starts doing that. And it's like, yeah, I'd be soaked. And if I'm her and I see him do that.
And like, she doesn't match his energy at all.
No.
Because no one can. Apparently that is just how Crispin Glover danced.
I totally believe that.
Like that's how, if they went to the club during the 80s, that is just how he got out on the dance floor.
But that's the thing about him that I think is so compelling is that 99% of the human race, if that is what their body did when their brain told it to dance, they wouldn't go out on the dance floor.
Right.
But he killed it. I bet he fucked like crazy. He just, and that's kind of the vibe that you get here is that they don't handle this moment in a way where Tina is laughing at him.
Yeah.
They handle it in a way where she's just dancing with him. They're just enjoying each other's time. And it's like, I like that. You've cast a weird guy, but the guy is so good. He's the best at reading your lines. Your shitty normal teenage dialogue is amplified by tons because of this dude.
Absolutely. And yeah, you couldn't write it. You couldn't generate that if you tried.
It is the human element that AI will never replace because AI could not make a Crispin Glover.
But after that, Paul goes over and like swaps to a slow song, and that's when they start slow dancing. I don't know how many, like, I've never been at a party like at somebody's house or something like this where we danced. Have you ever done that at a was that something that happened more in the 80s? Do you think this actually happened is what I'm saying?
I think that it probably used to. I think in a world where most people didn't have TVs, and if you did, it was very limited to what you could watch.
Right.
And there wasn't a lot of programming anyway. It's not like you could click on a TV and pick a movie. You're limited to, but everybody had records.
Yeah.
Everybody had record collections. Record players were in every home. And that single big radio that you'd all gather around to listen to FDR on. But so yeah, I think probably. Like I have been to parties where I've danced before in homes or whatever, but usually it's more like a moshy situation because I've been to house parties where there are bands. Because I really like, growing up I was a big, punk kid, and so I would, not a punk kid, but I liked punk music, so I would go see shows that my friends' bands were putting on or whatever.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Punk dancing is far more similar to what Crispin Glover is doing in this than the music he's listening to, because he looks like he's doing that like punkabilly shit where you just kind of do like the swing kick dancing, but you're also like moshing and throwing your fists around. That's what he looks like. He also looks like, and if you're a fan of Parks and Rec, you'll get this. He looks like Ron Swanson's Sleep fighting. He also looks like that's what he's doing. You don't get the reference.
No, I've watched it once.
It's good.
I'll get around to it again. Sure. Or I'll pause this episode right now and I'll go Google Ron Swanson sleep dancing or whatever you said.
And we're back. What did you think?
Oh, you were spot on.
Right. I know.
But yeah. So dancing happens.
Yes.
Tina does some flirting and some dancing with Paul, which then upsets Samantha.
Right. Meanwhile, you have the other Doublemint twin, Tara, right? Tiffany?
Teddy is trying to be with Tina.
Tina.
Yeah.
Oh, then what was the other one? Tiffany?
Terry.
What the fuck?
Terry and Tina.
Terry is not. Okay, whatever. Terry is who is getting danced at. But Tina is sitting on the couch and Ted is doing a really hardcore impression of Shelley from the last movie. Like, I'm doing this embarrassing joke. Yeah. I keep doing it. He's got a teddy bear and he's like, look, it's Teddy's Teddy. Ha 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 ha. It's Teddy's Teddy. I'll keep you safe.
Do you want to give Teddy Bear a kiss?
And she's like, no. Like, she's doing the best performance I've ever seen of an actual young woman being horrifically turned off by a peer and being like, yeah, please fucking leave me alone. Meanwhile, the one that he calls a dead fuck, Jimbo,
eventually ends up upstairs with one of them.
And it's so cute. Not to jump too far ahead, but like, they could have taken the easy road here and written him to be this hilarious thing that people make fun of. And instead, it's like she seems blown away by their night together. Yeah. And he is so enraptured by how much fun he's having. And it's just like, no, this is nice for you. I like this.
Yeah, there are several kind of like just kind of nice moments that I get in this movie.
Yeah.
Samantha goes outside and kind of like whatever her name is from part 2. She goes out to the lake. She gives one cursory like, Paul? Like he's following her out there.
Yeah, but
and
it's
then
not
just
that
like
she doesn't look behind her. Yeah. She gets to the lake and then kind of to the lake calls out Paul. So what I said to you when we were watching is like, yeah, he's decided not to have sex with this other woman who he's trying to have sex with inside. He has instead walked outside, run the entire length of Crystal Lake, all the way around it, dove into the water so that when she calls, he can burst out.
Romantically?
No. And what's funny is that does kind of end up being done, but not by him.
Yeah. After she calls, she then just strips down again, like she did earlier. And she swims out to this little raft that's floating on the lake.
Which it has to be like anchored because it's just floating in the middle.
Yeah. And you ask, it's just like, why? Why does she do this? And it's like, I don't know. Because we need her to go over there and to have like this kill set piece.
We need a kill set piece. And granted, it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool visual.
Yeah.
But it's also, you need her to take her boobies out to get murdered. Mm-hmm. And what easier way to do that than to get in Crystal Lake? I also love that everybody treats Crystal Lake like either it's like the backdrop where they're like, oh yeah, we're doing canoeing today, campers, or they're like beach party. And it's like a disgusting, like New Jersey lake that's like, that there's like fish and shit in there, but nobody seems to matter because in the middle of the night, she gets into that water, that murky fucking water, and swims to, it's, I'm trying to think of, it's not like a pool toy, like a pool floaty.
Right.
It's like a camping, like an industrial sort of, but she gets into this rectangular raft and she's like laying with her front there and just kind of like killing time, it seems.
Yeah, kind of waiting for Paul to come finally find her.
Right.
And then Jason pops out of the water a bit like he did when he was a wee babe.
Can we talk about that for a second? I want to cut away from the story really quick to talk about something franchise general. I took a note about this franchise and rewatching this movie today. I adore how Jason's connection to drowning as a child has made him like, the franchise treats him like an amphibian. It gives him like the water is his second home. And they use that so often and so well, I think. I don't think they've ever overused it.
No.
But it's like him just being able, because you do not hear him get in. And she is out there for a while. So he's holding his breath, assumedly watching and waiting. And it's like, that's terrifying. You and I recently watched Jaws because I am the newbie to the genre. I had not seen Jaws. Now, what I will say is Jaws is a much better movie than this.
What?
This guy Spielberg, he's going places.
Wow.
He would go on to make Jason's immortal enemy, E.T.
That is true.
Who, judging by the polls, cannot die. But you've got this... it's the line can be drawn between Jaws and Jason, and both they have a J name, but also that it is so frightening to think of the fact that there is nowhere to go. And that it is always, the possibility of him being underneath you is always present. I thought that was interesting.
I like, whenever you really kind of think about technically as a person, whether he's undead or not at this point, like just being underwater for an amount of time to where she does not hear him, she does not feel or hear any splashing.
Yeah, nothing.
And then he just
bubbles,
bolts up out of the water
with an energy that like it seems to me, because I'm putting way too much thought into this. It seems to me that he has sprung himself from the bottom up because he bursts out of the water.
Yeah.
So it's like, is he just sitting on the bottom of the lake waiting to murder this girl? And if so, how long can he hold his fucking breath?
And even if he wasn't like sitting down there waiting, it's still like, say he's on the other, he's around the lake a bit, but he watches her get in the water, swim all the way over there, gets in, and then he silently gets in the water, goes underneath,
right,
swims
without
or walks
a fucking
over,
ripple.
And then still surprises her.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it adds to that level of, because on rewatches, it's like, you should have seen him. Mm-hmm. And then if you didn't, that's bad.
Yeah.
It's Michael is just evil, right? That's what everyone says. Michael is evil. And Freddy's like magic. He's like a demon. But Jason is like a nature man. It's like the horror that you can get by just living on your own in the woods for so long. I don't know. Like I said, I think that it's an interesting way to look at the series of like, there is nowhere he cannot get you. If you are in your home, he finds you, he smashes through your home like a fucking bulldozer and tears your family apart. Or you go out in the water to get away from him and he bursts out of the water and fucking tears you apart. And it's like, it is Jaws, but there is no shore that he can't climb on. And that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
The kill here is weird.
Yes. I like the effect. Fine.
Sure.
It is. And it's the same thing whenever she goes under the dock and scares Samantha or Sarah and pulls her into the water earlier.
Okay. So it's not just me. Thank you. I love this.
But she like overacts in her face
so bad. And it's her voice too, because most people when acting, man or woman, will scream and that's kind of the direction. But she doesn't. She's like it's like this weird
straining.
Yeah. Which normally would be good, but her eyes are all popped out and it's like she's almost like crossing her eyes.
She's doing cross eye. And I noticed on like the second rewatch, like she doesn't move her arms in any way. And I don't know if that was just the way that like she had to be built into that prosthetic and however they did that stunt.
Probably.
But it's like she couldn't struggle her arms just a little bit. Like they're just solid. They're just there hanging out. And then she makes the face because he grabs her like by between the shoulder blades and pins her down. And then with the other hand, he with a machete or a big knife up through the bottom of this raft, up through her back.
Yeah.
To kill her. So yeah, it is a cool effect. It's just, man, that overacting.
Yeah. Again, it's the banana. Her overacting truly is the banana of this kill. Yeah. That's a series staple for us, the Third Channel. When we don't like something about a kill, that's the banana of that kill.
Oh, I see what okay.
Yeah. I
get it now. Paul
eventually does decide to get his shit together.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I know I've been dancing with you, Tina, but I'm not going to be a full scumbag to my girlfriend. I'm only going to be a bit of a scumbag.
But it's not like, it doesn't seem like he goes out there because he really loves her. It's like, I'm not hard for you. I'm hard for her. I'm going. He like walks out because it's like, that is the depth. That's another reason that I like Crispin Glover so much in this movie is because like all of these characters have zero depth. They have no character. There's nothing built into them, but he makes that character a character.
Yeah.
Because he's fucking weird. And it's great. But not a weird guy. Paul, he follows finally.
Yeah. He strips down, swims out to...
Yeah, he strips down. They all do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they see water. Pop goes the weasel. They get naked.
And he swims out to Samantha on the raft, finding her dead body.
Yeah.
Freaking out, quickly swimming over to a dock. And then again, we get like, is Jason just lingering? Because you get a quick shot of the dock and there's no Jason to be seen.
Right.
The water is placid. And Paul bolts over there as fast as he can swim. And then about the time he reaches the dock, Jason from underneath with like a spear gun just sticks it in Paul's crotch and then lifts him bodily from the water.
Right. And by this point, this is what I mean when I say that this is the most Jason has been so far. He is shown now to be ruthless, relentless, able to survive in the harshest. He has been hit in the skull with a machete, put into a freezer. He has then traipsed from the hospital through the forest back to Crystal Lake, where he has run into another group of meandering people whom he is beginning once again to ruthlessly murder for no reason. and has been shown to survive for minutes at a time underwater, has killed now a teenage girl and then a teenage boy, but has lifted, because Paul's a bigger guy. I'd say he's the biggest man of them. And he lifts him. I mean, his feet are kicking out of the water.
Yeah.
He's lifted him all the way out. I love it. And the stunt performer does an incredible job at showing, like, it's what I said earlier, but I'll add something to that. It is Frankenstein was always slow and meandering. And that's how Frankenstein's monster is portrayed. That's how Boris Karloff kind of shows him. He's never very quick. This is like the reactionary, like, volatility of Frankenstein, but with the speed of a much stronger, much faster man. Because it's like Frankenstein couldn't do this shit.
Yeah. It's the brutality that you really get in some of these later kills here in just a second. You get a quick shot of Rob, who is camping, along the path around this lake in a tent, and he hears these screams and the struggle. And he gets out of his tent and he has a machete and he walks down the path for a bit, and then he turns around and then he sees like a figure around his tent that he just left.
Right.
And he goes back, and all of his like supplies, and he has a rifle and things, all have been destroyed.
Right.
The timing of all that is weird to me, because it's like, if you just heard Jason in the lake killing Paul, then how did he then rush over here to... It's all kind of,
I agree with that. What I will say is that this scene works to take the presumed mindlessness from Jason away. I don't want to use that gun, but I am going to break it so it can't be used on me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a good point. We go back to the party, and this is where Tina and Jimmy go upstairs, leaving Terry and Ted. And he does, again, the same exact bit that he had just done to Terry before, or to Tina before, he does to Terry now, of like, do you want to give Teddy Bear a kiss?
Yeah, drying her out like a Dyson.
But then Ted finds these old film reels.
This is super strange. And much like Ned's and Ted's before Ted, I don't care for any of this. The performance is really bad.
Yeah.
I don't care for Ted.
They didn't have anything to do with them.
Well, what I said at the time is that they had no direction.
Yeah.
This kid was given no direction. Fucking Zito was too busy trying to figure out how to work a goddamned typewriter. He wanted to know so bad that he wasn't directing this kid. Cause it's like he sits and like the film reels that are watching are old footage of what looks to be Hawaiian native dancers are dancing, or like not the people, but like they're in the regalia and it's supposed to be Hawaii, but their boobies are out as they're dancing in black and white. But it's not like he's watching it to be like a perv. He's high as fuck. Yeah. He's obviously baked out of his mind. And he's watching it and just laughing in this armchair, but not doing anything else. He will eventually get up and go to do stuff with it. But for the first time we see him doing this, he is just sitting there. And it's so strange.
It's also, it's like that he's high.
Yeah.
But he somehow sets up an entire projector and strings the film through it, and then sets it up and watches it with this screen. And
his laughter is so fucking obnoxious. He's like, it's like, I'm at a loss for words by how much this part of like annoys me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not, it doesn't detract from anything, but you could lift it right out and there would be no problem.
Yeah. It's that they needed something to distract him while everyone else was getting murdered before he is then murdered.
Which is stupid, because just make him go to sleep.
Or make him get killed first.
Right.
Make it, I don't know.
Write him out of the movie.
Yeah.
Make Paul the one who tells Jimbo he's a dead fuck.
Yeah. So since Tina has gone upstairs with Jimmy, Terry tries to get her to leave. And then Tina's like, nope, you can go ahead without me. And so Terry heads out to her bike. And we get kind of it's a simple, like, you don't get a real effect for it. But like the camera is sitting there watching her come out of the front of the house, go over to, she puts on like a parka or like a
raincoat
to get on her bike. And as she's kind of getting on there, the camera pushes in past her up toward the house. And then in a flash of lightning, you see the shadow of Jason step forward and like spear her. Possibly still with the spear gun, maybe.
You and I have talked about this on this show before and in person many times. Doing stuff like that, doing out of focus background work is always so frightening.
Yeah.
I think it's what made that Slender Man game so successful. It's just great. And doing it in the lightning again kind of adds to that like woodsman motif. I like this part a lot. Because you also don't need to do something amazing and special for every one of these characters. There's like 12 characters.
Yeah. And in another flash, he like basically pins her body to the front of the house. He'll use that later for kind of, you know, freaking out Trish later on. But you get this is where you get one of those little cute moments of like character stuff, because you have Sarah, who is like the virgin of the group. And she's sitting there with Doug, and they're watching this like old porn movie that Ted is laughing at
from the golden age.
Yeah. I think it's older than that.
The golden age of the 1930s.
Yeah. But she has this little moment because she had talked to Sam earlier about what the sleeping arrangements were. And Sam was like, oh yeah, you're going to have this bedroom, but don't worry, there's bunk beds. So you don't have to, you won't be sleeping with Doug.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this moment, Sarah's like, I think I'm going to go upstairs. He's like, because you're tired, you're going to go to sleep? And she's like, no. Like, okay. And she's like, can you sleep on the bottom bunk tonight? He's like, because you want to sleep on the top? Well, no. And then they kind of like, I don't know, they just like smile at each other for a bit of like the dawning of like what she means. And she's still being like, I don't know, it's just very cute. And she's like, just give me a minute. And then she goes upstairs. I just think it's a really sweet little moment. Yeah. We get a little insert here with Mrs. Jarvis. She comes home and the power is out at her house. It's storming at this point. I don't know if we've mentioned that.
Yeah.
But she goes outside looking for Gordon. And we get a very similar to in part 2, the character who like turns to the camera and reacts to something and then cut to next thing. And then we never see Mrs. Jarvis again.
No. Assumption of mine is that she's in Crystal Lake forever now.
Yeah. There is there is a an alternate or like a cut ending from this where Trish finds her dead body. But yeah, that all got cut.
Looks like they're doing Christmas at Dad's this year.
Yeah. And Trish and Tommy end up making it home. Power is still out. Can't find Mom. Trish goes out into the storm to try and find Rob because, she knows about where he is. So she makes it out there and you get these cool, they end up being like really good kind of trailer shots where like she finds Rob's tent. She goes inside and then Rob, well, we don't know that, but like a POV kind of walks up to the outside of this tent and it's like, is it Rob? Is it Jason? Who is this? So you get those POV shots, but then you also get like Trish inside the tent. And so the shadow kind of casts across it and he like slashes the tent and then steps in and you see him from like the feet, up as he steps into frame and the machete is there. They're just really good, what I would call like trailer shots because they don't show who the killer is. And so you could use it however you wanted.
Well, and what I like about that is it's a reversal of what they did earlier. Jason comes walking out of the woods and then it's actually him, but then he sees Jason in his tent, but it's actually her. And like they keep playing with the paranoia of being out in the woods.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is Rob. And this is where he explains to Trish that the reason he's out there.
Yeah.
Is
dead fucking sister.
Yeah. His sister Sandra was killed by Jason and that he believes that Jason is still alive out there. He has a bunch of newspaper clippings, which has like an artist rendition of what Jason looked like as a kid.
I do like the payoff of that too.
Yes.
I can imagine he's sitting there and he's like, yeah, you know, my sister was murdered by him. And like, I just can't stop thinking about like her final moments, or like maybe somebody is like surviving and is so scared that like they do something really embarrassing. Like they piss themselves. Like, oh God, could you imagine?
You haven't thought of the smell.
That's the second Sonny reference.
Yeah.
Because earlier I said Pepe Sylvia.
Yeah. I'm sure there's been more and we just missed them.
There's a dozen every episode.
So Jimmy and Tina have they've made love.
Yes.
And she says that Jimmy was incredible in bed.
Yes.
So that's the positive.
Yeah. We know somebody, when we're not going to name any names, we know somebody that we both agree he reminds us a lot of Crispin Glover.
Yeah.
And from all accounts, that dude is also wicked in bed. So, like, you know what they say. I don't have any sayings that I can, but you know what they are, what they being us are suggesting right now, which is that guy is probably good in the sack.
Yeah.
Crispin Glover, I mean.
And then so he goes downstairs to gloat to his friend Ted.
He goes, dead fuck, huh? And he hands him her panties.
Because it was the 80s and it was a different time.
Yeah, but then Ted's a good friend about it. And he's like, oh, nice.
Yeah, like, and I do like that. I like their little friend moments because you have that in your own friendships of like, you know, you pick at each other, you have little jokes and little things that you say to each other to get at one another.
Yeah.
But then in those moments, you're just like, no, but congrats, man. Like, good for you.
Yeah. And then you've got, it's like when you got your promotion at work and the things I said about you to everyone we know, but not you.
Oh.
Yeah. A lot of shit talking. I try to get that straight.
But you get the best.
Yes.
The best scene in the whole movie.
It's the only reason I know Ted's name.
Uh-huh.
And I got to be honest with
Jimmy's a good guy like that.
Yeah. This is another one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, stop listening and Google quote, "Hey Ted, where the hell is the corkscrew?" I'm going to do the impression on this one. It is so funny because he's like all post-sex, like kind of loose and happy. And he's trying to get a bottle of wine open to bring back upstairs to celebrate.
But he needs that fancy corkscrew.
Right. So he's literally like, Ted, where's the corkscrew? Hey, Ted, where's the corkscrew? And when he asks for the final time, you are reminded, and you know, it's funny and we laugh about the scene and we enjoy the scene because Crispin Glover, but it's also fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Because
out of the darkness of this small kitchen,
it's like a kitchenette.
Yeah.
It's like the hallway leading out of it. And he's turned around to talk. Hey, Ted, where's the cork? And as he's turned around, his hand is sitting on the counter. It's like a cutting board on the counter. And Jason takes the corkscrew and stabs through his hand into the wood, which looks amazing. Yeah. It looks so good that you forget it's a prop. It's like,
yeah, the way that it pours blood.
It's so
I love how they do the blood in this movie.
But can you imagine the damage that a sharp and puncturing screwed piece of like a you know what I mean, like that kind of metal. Yeah. Can you imagine the damage that would do to like the tendons in your hand?
Yeah.
And before he has a chance to scream, because he goes to scream from the pain. And this is another one that you and I were watching behind the scenes of the effect for this, because they had to do it in reverse. And they had to do it in reverse. And then once that shot was done in reverse, hold it and then do blood effects afterwards. So getting the shot was amazing. But it's one of those like, boom, and it's done. And they cut away from it super fast. But Jason has slammed this corkscrew into his hand, sticking him in place. And before he can scream, he has swung this fucking machete into.
I think it's the meat cleaver. I think
it looks too long to be a meat cleaver. It's like in between.
Yeah, but that's what I believe it is. Because then after this, he grabs like a big butcher knife.
You know what's funny? Do you know what it looked like to me, or what has reminded me of it in recent days? Watching Jaws, the blade that Quint has on the orca that he chops the lines away.
That I think is a type of machete,
but it's just a little bit shorter,
and it's like got a blunt end on it,
which is what this looks like. But he swings it up and it's like it is now bisected Jim's face.
Like between the eyes, but at an angle.
Which then pours blood. And it's so horrific because
he's like...
his mouth, his eyes are closed. His mouth is open and he is shaking, like rattling, but he hasn't screamed. The whole time he never got a chance to scream. And then he's got like a machete in his brain. So he can't scream now. He will never do that again. And it's like, oh my God, cutting away from that is so, the horror of that is so deserved because it is. He just had sex and he's talking to his buddy and he's about to go drink some wine. And then he is dead in a flash because, I mean, that's what these movies do best.
Yeah. I love this kill. The reverse shot of using, the blade that is like cut out to perfectly fit onto his face,
right? Shooting
it in reverse. Like that is a Tom Savini special. It's something he's been doing, since like Dawn of the Dead.
But then holding and going, okay, now that we have this footage, we're going to have played this in reverse. So let's put the machete back on his face. And now let's do the blood effect from the machete where they then hook it up to pumps and have it pour blood. I mean, we cannot stress enough. We have talked a lot about effects teams on this. I think we spent time in the later Halloweens talking about Greg Nicotero and how wonderful his effects can be. But like Tom Savini is on the Rushmore. He's up with Lon Chaney, I think. He's an inventor in his ways and just so fucking good at this stuff.
Absolutely.
He is as good as makeup as Jason is for water murder.
Great.
Thank you.
That we're going to put that on a t-shirt.
That's going to be our little audio sting that we put out.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's not, I'll quit the podcast.
Okay. If anybody knows anybody out there who wants to co-host a horror podcast,
why don't you get Lance, your new friend?
Oh man, Lance, if you're listening.
No, God, no. I lashed out. I'm sorry.
Tina, who had gone to get cleaned up after some incredible sex, apparently. She notices that her sister Terry's bike is still outside. Terry, who has left, ages ago.
Crispin Glover. Sorry, I was trying to think of a joke.
That's good.
Yeah, she departed her Crispin Glover.
That's really good.
Thank you.
And then before she has time to react, Jason, who has teleported from the kitchen to standing on the roof for some reason, grabs her through the window.
Okay, I cannot establish how hilarious the juxtaposition from Jim being murdered with the machete to how fucking funny this is. It is hilarious. They are complete heads and tails opposite from each other. He smashes his hands through this window and just without time to think, just throws her off the roof. And it's like a little slow-mo-y.
Yeah, but like not the choppy slow-mo that we get a little bit of later, but it's almost like she soars out of that window.
Well, I mean, think about this. If he's strong enough to pick that dude up bodily from his now freshly stabbed penis, I mean, it is so, and that's what I referenced this earlier, talking about like kind of him being reminiscent of Frankenstein's monster, but it's like he throws her, but his arms are like straight out, like a kid, like he doesn't know what else to do. And she does scream. She screams her fucking lungs out and she smashes to the floor.
Yeah, she like smashes onto the top of their car. Incredible stunt.
Yeah.
There is a couple like really good
car smashes in this.
Car smashes and like women falling off of or out of windows and to the ground below. Just really good stunt team.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are then back with Ted, who is still watching. He's alone watching these old movies.
And then for no fucking reason, he's been watching it the whole time and he gets up and he's like, I'm going to walk closer now. And I'm going to like...
He does the teddy bear bit again.
But to
the screen.
Right. Now, by the way, you, for the listener at home, you have never participated in marijuana. I have.
Scandalous.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, everybody. I have a lot to the point where it's like, this is too much. I have never once, ever because Hollywood doesn't know, writers don't know what it's like to do that, which is weird because a lot of writers smoke. But I've never been so high that I walk up to a movie screen and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Look at this funny thing I'm doing. Like, I've never thought that that's a real person. Mm-hmm. And he does. And he's talking to this. And then the screen goes white.
Right.
And he turns and he's
it's like the film reel has like ended and it's just kind of like flipping.
And whether Jason, and I can't make up my mind on this.
Right.
Does
whether he like cuts it or whether
how would he know to do that?
Yeah. Or whether it just timed out that was the end of the reel.
And Jason's just waiting for him to turn around. Yeah. It's probably the latter. Because Jason's been shown to be capable of like unwiring homes and like doing certain advanced things, but I don't think he'd know how to.
I wouldn't think so.
He was raised in
the bottom of a lake.
Alone.
Yeah.
He was raised he's sleeping with the fishes, but in a different way. But so Ted turns around and he's kind of blinded by the white light coming out of the projector. And he's like, oh, what's up, man? What's up? And Jason's like, dude, where's my car or whatever? Because of weed.
Yeah. But yeah, Ted gets stabbed through the screen to the back of the head. And again, you get some like quick little edits in there of sometimes it's Ted with like an appliance. There's they make up an entire like head and shoulders that is in there for frames of this where he's stabbed. And then he like slinks down and like the blood then is on the screen.
Yeah.
And easy enough effect. Looks fine.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is like, it's like the nurse in the beginning who gets killed with just a scalpel. It's like a scalpel kills easy. You just stick them in the fucking neck with the scalpel. But like, it is that he lifts her up and kills her. And then she's like, it just adds a layer. And it's like, yeah, all Jason needed to do was round the corner after killing, after killing Ted in the kitchen. He literally just needed to walk out of a hallway and kill him really fast with the same thing. But it's going that extra mile. It's adding that extra layer that gives these movies something to remember them by.
Yeah, the other thing that I think of in this is I don't know how much of this movie was shot, because that's what makes sense. He kills Jim in the kitchen.
Right.
And then he would pick up the knife from the kitchen, because you see a shot of him do that. And go out, stab Ted.
Because the geography of the house that we get to see is like, it is right outside of that room. Like,
and then go upstairs and take care of. I almost want to say they like shot these scenes and then were like, oh no, pacing wise or whatever, we need to move them around a bit.
Yeah, it is. That's what I meant earlier when I said the chronology of these things just, and all of these movies are the same way, but it's just like, I watched this movie, I think at 6:00 and we were recording late. We're recording late, but I watched it hours ago.
Yeah.
And I have no idea because it doesn't matter. It's like it's like Mancala. You just wherever hole this marble is going to fit, and this hole is some sex-addled teenager getting murdered in a house by a crazy man with a hockey mask.
Well, speaking of, that leads us to Sarah and Doug, who are taking a shower together.
The scandal.
And she gets out of the shower and goes to, I guess, dry her hair in the bedroom. And
she looks over and she says, "Come over here and fuck me."
Yeah. I was wondering if it was going to come back.
Of course it is.
She goes off. And so Doug is then left alone in the shower. The lights cut out and he can see somebody, because it's like one of those showers with like the marbled, like slidey glass door.
Yeah.
So he sees that a figure is there, and he believes that it is his friend Paul. And so he makes, some joke about, oh, Paul, it's a good thing you're not in here with me, buddy. I just dropped the soap. And then as he's doing that, Jason's hand just bursts through the glass, and like, he doesn't choke him. He doesn't have a stabbing utensil of any kind. He just kind of crushes his face into the wall.
It's so quick that it happens. It's like it takes him no effort.
Yeah.
And again, that's horrid. And it's a really good effect.
Yeah, and they made up an entire,
sure.
Doug's
well, they would have to, because like the skull plate caves in and like the eyes bulge a bit.
But you see it for just, frames.
And the other thing I think, and we haven't discussed that. Another thing that I think those quick cut kills do. TM, by the way, quick cut kills. We'll figure out what kind of spinoff show that'll be. But those quick cut kills really, not only does it add a bit of franticness to it, I think it lets your mind add stuff to what's happening.
Absolutely.
Because I remember teeth coming out of that head, and then I rewatched it today, and I don't think that happens. But I remember seeing like the teeth break out, because that's what would happen. I mean, if your faceplate is getting crushed, your teeth would get pushed up and out of your jaw. But yeah, no, it is. You have on one hand, he's dismantling firearms that he knows are dangerous to him, and he's cutting the power to homes. And in the other hand, he is fucking chopping people's heads apart, ripping them out of the window and throwing them 2 floors, or just smashing their fucking head into the wall.
Yeah.
This one, his kill is great.
Yeah, and it's simple but effective. Sarah comes back to the bathroom and she finds Doug's body.
The quick cut kills, you add things, your mind kind of adds things. Another thing I could have sworn happened in that is that Jason then, for a practical, like, oh, well, this would be funny, is he picks up the soap because he's like, I dropped the soap, and then he shoves it up Doug's ass, his dead ass. I remember that happening. Does that not happen?
No, you created something there. That was only in your head.
This is the golden age of porn.
Yes. This moment right now.
Right now. We did it. We truly are the modern day Wes Craven and Sean Cunningham.
Making porn together?
Well, hold on. Please keep talking about the movie.
Sarah runs downstairs and she goes to leave the front door, but it's locked. And then
yes,
an axe bursts through, hitting her in the chest, and she just falls back dead. Again, super, super simple effect here. Doesn't need to be anything special.
Nope.
And we've now basically killed off all of our teens for the most part. And so we just kind of have the Jarvis family. And so Tommy is then, he gets the lights back on at the Jarvis house.
Yeah.
And Trish and Rob make it back there. They're trying to call for help. And this is where, Jason just rips the phone box off the wall, cuts that cord.
Yeah.
So he is smart enough to know to do those things.
I know that this is the phone box. I know that this lets them get away, but I don't know how to work on it. So I'm going to tear it a fucking part.
Yeah.
Great.
And so they leave Trish, Rob, and they take Gordon with them to go check on the teens at the other house. And whenever they get there, the power cuts out. Rob goes down into the basement, and he has a knife and a flashlight with him. Gordon gets scared of something because Trish and Gordon are kind of in the main part of the house. Gordon gets scared of something and whimpers and runs upstairs.
Which was a big mistake. Huge.
This is another thing where I think you invent things that don't happen. Because what do you believe happens with Gordon here?
Gordon gets tossed out a window.
He doesn't get tossed.
He doesn't get tossed through a window?
No. Gordon is so afraid by, I assume, Jason downstairs somewhere that he runs upstairs and bolts out of the window.
Oh my God, you're right. He does jump. Hold on, because this is amazing. Because you're right. It's like the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
I just thought I got fucking hucked out the window.
And I think it's from the original time that we watched this, that you and Dylan and I stood around in the parking lot outside and we kept joking about
that he just threw everything out the window.
He tosses everything out the window, the twin earlier. He threw that because our big joke was that he tosses Gordon out the window into the waiting jaws of a Michael Myers.
And then, of course, Michael Myers swallows Gordon whole, and then Jaws comes up and swallows Michael, and in perfect English is like, but I'm the only shark out in these waters.
That's good. It's a reference you can make now because you've seen that film.
Yeah.
And that happens in the movie. John says that.
But it's Australian.
Yeah.
Because he's Bruce.
But yeah, Gordon exits the film through that window.
Exit stage window.
And then we don't see him again.
Yeah.
But Trish goes upstairs, also find Doug's body. And so she runs back downstairs. And it's like, it's that thing of they get there and the lights cut out and they're like, well, he's here. He's got to be here.
Yeah.
And then they split up. Bad idea.
Bad. Yeah.
She goes upstairs. She finds Doug's body. And then she starts freaking out of like, he's here. He's here. And she runs back down to meet Rob in the basement. And this is where.
Yeah. And you and I remembered this much like I recalled Gordon being bodily thrown out of the window. We remembered this being much worse than it is.
Yeah. The delivery being more frantic or just more.
Right. It is still weird enough that we should point it out. Rob is in the basement and Jason like kind of rushes him and he's like, Trisha, go, run. You need to get out of here. And she's like, I love that she's not like, I won't leave you. She's just like, word. And she fucking like, and runs away. She also does not call for Gordon.
No.
Because Gordon said to her, I'm out. he went, raw, and he jumped out the window because all dogs talk. But if you smoke enough, they talk, and then you can talk to movies. She runs away, and he is shouting, oh, my God. And I'm not really even exaggerating here. He's like, oh, my God, run. Oh, he's killing me. Oh, my God, he's killing me. Run. But we remember him doing that like 30 times.
Yeah, just over and over and over again. Jason picks up like a gardening tool to do it. And apparently, like, I guess they wanted that to be, they've shown you the kill, all these different effects and things. And this is the one that were like, well, let's make this one a little more like we don't know what's happening to him.
A bit ambiguous. I get that.
And so, because they keep it very much in the dark.
Yeah.
In this, very shadowy basement. But then like his line delivery is ridiculous that I think it just got laughs in the theaters.
I mean, it got fucking laughs in our house.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago, we couldn't fucking breathe. Mm-hmm. And you knew it was happening too. Yeah. And you were like, oh, dude, wait. And
but
it was hilarious.
It's a ridiculous line reading. But
He's
here we are.
Killing me.
Yeah. I hope that if I was ever being, stabbed to death, that I would have the wherewithal to let everyone around me within earshot know that
I was
person
in fact
was
killing you.
Wait, what?
That the person killing you was in fact killing you.
Yeah. I would I'd say it a lot.
You'd be like, PJ's killing me,
But she does run away. Trish runs out of the basement and then like about faces and goes right back down. For whatever reason, it's one of the more bizarre things in the whole movie. Like, what was the point of that? I don't know. Right. But Jason like bursts out of he grabs her from the underneath the stairs.
Yeah, very Chucky or Child's Play. Mm-hmm. What is that? 2?
2.
Yeah.
The good pull. And she ends up she like hacks his arm with whatever knife or machete or whatever she has with him. And she runs to the front door. And this is where she finds Tina's body has been posed on the porch.
Right.
So then she runs to the back door of this house.
Oh my God. And this was this elicits both like a yucky cringe. Have I explained cheek tingles on this show?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay. This elicits really bad cheek tingles.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't understand what that is, go back in earlier episodes. But I get real bad cheek tingles because she opens the back door and Jim, his beautiful body, his beautiful lanky body, has literally been crucified to the door frame. He has like big railroad spike nails, like driven into his hands, pinning him. And she sees it and she screams and she like kind of.
She can't get past it. So this is where windows are just smashed and this.
Right.
So she like picks up a chair and busts out one of the windows over the sink and climbs out that way.
But then Jason following after her just like lowers a shoulder and pushes through the body he nailed up there. And the nails tear through Crispin Glover's corpse's hands and he falls to the ground. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That poor guy's hands.
Yeah.
The corkscrew, this.
It's pretty much just that.
Well, he
just
also
those
had
things.
he had carpal tunnel because he was having to write down the script for the director.
Oh, that's really painful.
Yeah.
And this brings us to our finale. Tommy in all this, who's been left at the Jarvis house by himself.
That's another thing. Is Trish is like, oh shit, Tommy, like runs back home.
The amount of times that happens in this movie of like, oh my God, Tommy's home alone.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he puts his hands on either side of his face.
You guys should have seen that. It was beautiful. Here, hold on, do it again.
But Tommy has found like the newspaper clippings in Rob's bag. And so he sees, he's reading about, Jason as a kid, and he sees the artist rendition of that. And then, so Trish gets home and they nail all the doors and windows shut on the ground floor.
Let me tell you, that does a lot for them.
It helps them.
Yeah.
It keeps them safe. When Jason throws Rob's body through the windows.
It's so funny too, because watching this movie and they cut into the visual where he's going to do that. And you're like, oh, that's not a real wall. Because it's like it looks like one half is, and then the other half, the window frame, like the pieces of wood that frame the glass of the windows are like much thinner. And it's like almost a different color. And it's like, that's not a real wall.
I love how violently his body flies through this window.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because it doesn't tear the windows out. It tears the wall apart.
Yeah. It just demolishes.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a real stunt person's body going through that window.
Yeah.
And then Jason bursts through another window.
That's the funniest part to me. Is he throws Rob through the window. He's tearing the wall apart. There's a giant hole now. And then he bursts. I think he bursts through a door. It's like he
comes through a second window to grab Tommy.
That's right. Okay.
And then whenever she hits him with the hammer, the claws go into his neck. So he lets go of Tommy. And then he just Frankenstein walks through the door.
But the thing is like, you can open a door. But you've made two holes in the windows. He doesn't come through either of those, but then he doesn't open the door either.
Nope.
And it is just like, the glasses come down into frame and land over his hockey mask because he just doesn't give a fuck, dude. It's so funny. And in hindsight, it's also scary. Mm-hmm. It's very much the zombie apocalypse thing of like, oh, even though you're in the house, you have to be silent because they'll just smash through your house.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's nowhere that you can go at this point.
No. They run upstairs and kind of barricade themselves in Tommy's room, and Jason chops through that with an axe. Mm-hmm. And then Trish tries to Stu Mocker Jason with a computer monitor. Mm-hmm. And it works for just a moment. But much like we're going to see the return of Stu Mocker in Scream 7, somehow Stu Mocker has returned.
We're not going to talk about this here, but it's got to be like a nightmare.
I think so.
Or I think Kevin Williams has had a stroke and that he didn't tell anybody about.
I shouldn't laugh at that.
No, it would be terrible, but it's also hilarious.
But she basically, they come up with the plan of like, I'm going to draw his attention one way. Tommy, you run the other way. Leave this house.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't.
He does not.
Yeah.
Jason does chase her, and they run upstairs, and she dives. She runs back to the teen's house because that's all they do is they just keep running back and forth between these houses for a while.
Yeah, but here I like that because it gives Tommy the time to do the thing he does.
Right.
Yeah.
So she runs over there and ends up upstairs, and she dives out of the top window of this house and tumbles down onto the ground below. Again, another incredible stunt here.
Yeah. And also, why would that character know, like, be able, she's shown running in the beginning of the movie. So like, oh, she's athletic, but like, fuck off. She's got a broken leg now. Like,
yeah. Cause then she takes a moment to slowly stand back up, and then she can jog back over to her own house.
Right. Wherein we have our first example. I believe this. Mm-hmm. This is our first example of actual character in this franchise.
Okay.
It is, you have set up a character's interest in something, talent in something, a personality that sits behind that, that then pays off with something that actually affects the plot of the movie. It's not random chick is pregnant or, girl finds sweater in cabin. It is like, This is something that is native to the character, and Tommy using the reference images from the newspaper that he's reading about Jason and his ability to do basically to be a little Tom Savini stand-in.
Yeah.
He shaves his hair, which also this pisses me off because it's like it would be so impossible to shave your head with shaving cream and a woman's razor if you have hair, like full length hair. But whatever. He shaves his hair off and he like uses makeup to like pale himself and darken his eyes. They get back. Trish is being pursued by Jason. And she's like, damn it, Tommy, I fucking told you to leave. And
this is where we get the
yes, she is fighting Jason. She's fighting back. She has gotten hold of the machete.
Yeah.
She is fighting back. And this is where we get like he smashes the lamp and he's just going full Frankenstein's monster, but he holds his hand up to grab. It's like he's reaching towards her.
Yeah. And so
he's defending himself.
Yeah.
It's whatever read you have on that. She slings that fucking blade into his finger crotch in between his middle finger and his ring finger. I only know that term because it's in Bob's Burgers.
Okay.
Bob gets a minor cut in between and he keeps freaking out, but they call it a finger crotch. And it's in between his middle and ring finger, but it goes down like halfway into his palm. And then the next time you see it, because you get a good shot, because Jason's hands, you pointed this out, Jason's hands are prosthetic hands. Like they go over. Let me explain. They're makeup prosthetic. They're like gloves that the stunt actor wears because the nails are like blackened and cracked and the hand skin is really rough textured. But the next time you see it, it's like an animatronic hand that is like moving and reaching and blood is pouring out of it. But like, it's like if you ever see somebody with a split tongue and they can then move them independently, that's what the parts of his hand is doing. It's really gross. And amazing.
And it's one of those, because we've seen his hands, with that makeup, with the ratty nails and things like that several times throughout this, like your brain just makes the connection of like, oh, that's his actual hand.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so cool. It's so gross.
It's a really cool effect.
Shrugging off that horribly grievous wound, he then pins her to the ground and is going to absolutely choke the fucking life out of her, assumedly because he's been injured by her just now. But Tommy comes down the stairs and is like, Jason. And then Jason turns around and goes, Jason Derulo, and does like a whole song. He turns around. I think there's a problem with that guy. Leave a comment on our show if there's a problem with Jason Derulo, if he's been canceled or not.
I don't know. His dream role that he got to perform was to be Rum Tum Tugger in Cats, the film.
Which is the scariest movie of all. Tommy comes down halfway down the stairs. He shouts for Jason. Jason turns around and sees him, and Tommy has like popped his collar and to make him look a little hunched, and he looks like baby Jason. And it works. And like Jason goes to approach him, and it's like our survivor from 2 who tricks him into thinking that she is his mother. Jason truly is mesmerized by this for a moment and then snaps out of it because fucking Trish is like,
she picks up the machete and swings it and cuts the hockey mask off of his face,
which is an interesting little bit of behind the scenes that you and I watched. I hope you took this as a note because you should have known that I thought this was so interesting.
Yeah.
There was no way to get this shot that they wanted to spend the time or the money on other than just it falling in the perfect way so that it's not center frame, but that it also is facing the audience.
Yeah.
So they dropped that mask from his height into the foot of the steps over and over and over again until they got it just right.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, there's not like a special effect you could do.
Right.
Because if you tried to wire it up, it's like, well, then you got to try and figure out how to hide the wires and things like that.
It's Sam Raimi making Tobey Maguire catch all of the food items on the tray. We could do this in a different way, but it wouldn't look real. And I want it to look real.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sam Raimi, that's another a killer coming up from the stairs. is in the fruit cellar. Damn, we talk a lot about cellars in this.
We do.
Probably because it's a horror movie podcast. But so he then turns around. I think actually this is where he smashes the lamp because he's coming after her. And then Tommy calls his name one final time. He spins around and Tommy buries the hatchet the machete into his head. And then we move to, because with Jason being unmasked, his face is like disfigured from the machete hitting it in the last movie, but it's much more disfigured than it was in the last movie. His skin is like warped. He looks very much the mutant in the woods. It's like they've finally gotten that visual down. Yeah,
and that's very much like what Tom Savini was trying to do is like, how can I, from the mask that I created for Kid Jason in the first film, how would I age that up?
Which is brilliant because it's great. This is what I think of. Obviously, when you think of Jason now, you think of my brain goes to like Part 7, zombified, Kane Hodder. That's what I think of.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking of him when he's alive, this is the visual. But he gets hacked in basically the same spot in the top of his head. And he same spot that he did in the last movie, right. And then he falls forward. And this is so amazing. This may be the most impressive practical special effects shot I've ever seen in any film. With the exception of like the really amazing ones that had like bigger budgets, like The Thing, but as far as what this kind of movie is concerned, Jason falls forward and lands the machete handle hitting the ground, and he, from the wound where it split his head open, slides down the length of the machete and it splits into his head, which almost kind of deflates under the cut.
Yeah.
And it's gushing blood. Now that was amazing because it's like reacting. The eyes are going fucking crazy and it's reacting.
Yeah, that's what I love is like the other half of his face, like his lips and his eyes and everything else, you know?
Yeah. And originally I was like, damn, that's an amazing puppet. Like that's a really good animatronic, but it wasn't. That was on that dude. And like, I think they had some facial stuff, but in the behind the scenes that we were watching, you see him wearing it and falling forward.
Yeah. It's your brain putting some of that together because there is an animatronic, but then there is the makeup on him.
So I mean the stunt of there being something to fall down on and him falling down on it. And like, cause you didn't have to show him fall. You could just show him fall forward a little bit, but he goes all the way forward. And it is always the thing of adding a bit of weight to your effect and then playing it out in the closest way that you could in facsimile to real life. And it pays dividends.
Yeah.
Because this is amazing. But now having killed him in the final chapter, they kill him and they live to see a new day. But not before Tommy Jarvis is like, I love you, sis. You son of a bitch. And he turns around and just starts hacking the fuck out of Jason's body.
He sees Jason's hand twitch. And so he grabs the machete again and just whacks him a whole bunch of times.
You and I disagreed on the ending of the last movie as to whether or not you liked it being Pamela's body kind of bursting out.
Right.
Because you said, you know, there's no way our final girl would know even who she was, what she looked like, yada, yada. And I agree with your criticisms, but I like it because it's a good homage. But I tell you what, a good homage to that first movie is Tommy Jarvis dressed up like a young Jason with a machete hacking someone to pieces. Because at the beginning, it's like, you know, it's very much the Jamie in the clown costume at the end of 4 getting, you know, killing somebody. It's like, yes, Tommy kills Jason because Jason has killed his mom, has killed a bunch of people, and he's doing it for a righteous reason. And they cut ahead a little bit, and she has survived. She's in the hospital, and Tommy comes running back up to her and hugs him. And the doctor is like, he's been through a lot, but his behavior isn't abnormal. He watched all of these, you know, traumas unfold in front of him. So it's accurate to say that he would have, you know, with adrenaline, he would have lost a bit of control and he would have acted out of character. But she's like afraid as he is hacking him, as Tommy's hacking Jason to pieces. Cause it's like, she looks and it's like, that's different. That's weird.
He's lost something human there. Right.
And then as he hugs her, which is funny because, again, watching this behind the scenes, the reason she had to hug him the way she does with her hand around his neck is because his neck was hiding his ball cap, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
What a really smart way to hide that.
Mm-hmm.
But the very last shot of the movie is she's holding him and he just this dead-eyed expression takes over his face and he just looks up and stares into the camera. And it's like, Corey Feldman was a talented fucking kid. Dude,
yeah, he really was.
Really, like the anger he had, because he's been this funny kid and like this carefree kind of perverted little kid the whole movie. And then by the end of it, it's like you feel the weight of that character shift and it hurts. It's sad. It's scary.
Yeah. What's funny is like Ted White, who played Jason, in interviews, he was like, Corey Feldman was the worst little kid. He was so mean, but man, he was a wonderful actor. Like they like didn't get along on set at all.
Yeah. He's the comeback kid.
But yeah, I don't know. Corey Feldman as this Tommy Jarvis character. And it's interesting because like he's a character we mentioned who goes on to be in the next couple of movies.
Yeah.
And so it's the first time that we've really like we got Alice from part 1 to part 2, but she's killed off in the opening scene.
Yeah.
You have, Rob is the brother of Sandra from part 2. So it's like you get these little characters that kind of like carry over from movie to movie.
Yeah.
But like Tommy's the first one that we kind of have like for real, this is a character who is tied to Jason in some way.
Yeah. Tommy Jarvis is the closest to a Laurie Strode that we get for this franchise.
But I think your Jamie Lloyd is even closer because this is the final chapter. This is the end. But they are kind of playing with the idea of like, did something pass from Jason to Tommy, or did this event break something in Tommy to now cause him to be like Jason?
So here's the question that I have. Do you reckon? No, here's the question that I have. Do you think that they then in Halloween 4, because it's new director, new writers, do you think that they then would have seen this? Because this movie came out before Halloween 4.
Yeah.
Do you think they saw this movie and went, oh, that's good, and then ripped Friday the 13th as a franchise off?
I mean, it is a big possibility.
It is so similar.
Yeah. And
because that's amazing to me. The idea that Halloween is so revolutionary that it spawns the cheap knockoff, and that the cheap knockoff keeps pounding that fucking pavement and hiring talented, smart, scrappy filmmakers to create these things that become a phenomenon. And then by the time it gets back around to Halloween, Halloween's like, well, fuck, we have nothing to go off of. John Carpenter and Deborah Hill have disconnected their phones. We have nothing to go off of. Mustafa Akkad is in every way a dummy. So what do? I don't know, that Tommy Jarvis shit with Corey Feldman, that was interesting. Yeah. Why don't we just do that? Why don't we make that the through line for this next series?
Well, and it's a weird through line there, or comparison there of like Jamie Lloyd goes through 3 movies, Tommy Jarvis goes through 3 movies.
She ages and changes very rapidly, is recast at one point. Same with Tommy. What I will say is that we liked Halloween 4. We had a good conversation on Halloween 4, but I think I like Friday the 13th Final Chapter much more than I liked Halloween 4.
Yes. Yeah, it is one of the best examples of what this franchise is. I think this is where, part 3, pretty much the main thing we get there is the hockey mask.
Yeah.
This is where you solidify who and what Jason is as a killer, what he looks like, what he feels like, how he acts.
And it's like, it's just in time for him to die.
Yeah.
But then when the franchise inevitably continues, I'm not talking about the next one. The next one's going to be rough.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty rough. And there's some funny meme shit in there, but it's still going to be pretty rough. But like just in time for him to die, we see him operating on full cylinders. And like the Hulk, I think it's just because the angrier he fucking gets. It's like all he wants is peace and quiet in his fucking little life. And all of these fucking kids keep coming in and they remind him of the people that let him die. And it's just fury. And it plays so well in this movie.
Yeah.
Jason is a character that's almost impossible to create a character for. He's silent. He's faceless. It's almost impossible. And yet this movie does it effortlessly.
Yeah, because even in all of that, he's still a bit of a tragic character.
Yeah.
Which are themes that were played with or thought of in part 2. I don't know. I think, I love this movie.
Yeah. It is, obviously we both recommend it. I'm going to start trying to, for movies that we obviously recommend that we really like, I'm going to shift the question that I have here at the end. I did this previously, but I really want to cement it with this episode. What is, if you had to pick a favorite part of this movie, a favorite scene, like, that thing, that tastemaker that stays with you after the movie that you reference. I used to watch movies as a kid with my grandparents, and I'd go with my cousins or whatever, and we would always, that's the conversation we'd have at the end. It's fun. It's very, what's your favorite part? What was your favorite part? And so that's the question here is, of this movie, what stuck with you the most?
The thing that I reference more than anything else, if I hear the word corkscrew, it is just
or Ted.
It is just that delivery of that line. And then how quickly, because then it's the kill that follows it is so well done.
Yeah.
The editing in this movie is really, really well done. The effects are obviously incredible.
Yeah.
And so all that together with Crispin Glover's just bizarre delivery is perfect.
Can you guess what mine is?
No.
It's the fucking dance.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's like, have you ever seen that bird that does like, it makes itself like its wings into an umbrella and it does a little shuffle dance? Yeah. It's like, that's the closest thing that humanity's ever come is Crispin Glover's dance in Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Thanks for tuning into the Third Channel podcast. Please, if you have the time, rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast apps.
You can follow us on social media at Third Channel Podcast, and you can find me online at thatdrosenberg.
You can also reach out to us at thirdchannelpodcast@gmail.com, where we check every message we swear. Third Channel is hosted by PJ Minette
and Derek Rosenberg. Theme song and audio engineering by Fly Guy Ty.
The logo design by Bell DeVelco.
Episode artwork by Nathan Walkington.
Keep it tuned right here to the Third Channel for all things horror. And remember, don't touch that dial.
Egg salad and eggs.